The tornado warned storm out of Trigg County here. We'll go back to our radar picture and I'm going to zoom out so we'll get a large view of what's going on across the area here. A lot of this is just getting started. A lot of these thunderstorms here, all this yellow that you see flashing, are severe thunderstorm warnings. These thunderstorm warnings are not your typical severe thunderstorm warnings. These are going to be nasty this evening. We've been getting reports out of Paducah and other locations in Kentucky and southern Illinois of several trees down, large trees down, flagpoles that have been bent, and this is all due to wind damage, straight line wind damage. So I don't want you to think that if it's a severe thunderstorm warning, you're fine. You just need to make sure that if you're in a warned location, severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning, that you're inside away from windows, because this line means business and it right now has no indication of slowing down. So again, we do continue to monitor at least the tornado warned location in Trigg County, and that is in the northeastern portion of the county, passing now east of Cadiz, and should be moving more into at least the line, moving into Trigg County, or Christian County, I should say, more towards Hopkinsville. Again, a lot of these showers and storms that will be pushing through are going to be spinning briefly along the leading edge of the line. That would be where we need to watch for potential tornadic rotation. And I would say it is east of Cadiz, just to the west potentially of I-24 at this time here. So again, the line, still most of it in southern Kentucky. We're starting to see some of those showers roll into Stewart County, and that's where we actually have a severe thunderstorm warning for Stewart County until 6:45 as well. Generally the line moving at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. Very intense line of showers and storms that we have rolling through for the evening hours here. So I'm going to clear that off, and what I want to do is actually check out and see if we have any reports. We've been getting a lot of them out of Paducah. These storms rolling through Kentucky, a lot of trees snapped, a lot of large limbs down. Thanks, Scott. And also now a flash flood warning has been issued for Trigg County and Christian County. Let's see. So they're actually issuing this all ahead of the rain that's expected to move through. So we'll zoom in a little closer here. So in addition to the tornado warning, we've got severe thunderstorm warnings on either side, and now a flash flood warning for this location here. The storm has had history of producing 2 inches of rain in about 20 minutes. That is a lot of rainfall in 20 minutes, 2 inches of rain, and the definition of flash flooding. A lot of rain over one location over a short amount of time where it has not enough time to sink into the ground and soak into the atmosphere, soak into the ground. That's where we tend to get that runoff, and we can have problems on those roads. So we're talking about this location here, Trigg County and portions of Christian County. The rainfall rates here, 2 inches in 20 minutes. That is an excessive amount of rainfall. So again, as I mentioned earlier in the 5:30 newscast, this line means business for tonight. This is one that needs to be taken seriously for folks in Tennessee, and there's the flash flood warning that's just come out. It does include Todd County too. So they're warning all of this ahead of the line because of the history of how much rain it has produced and the reports that are coming out of Kentucky as well. But for folks in Tennessee, now's your time to prepare. I want you to make sure that you have your cell phone charged for tonight. If the line maintains its strength, which for now we are anticipating it to do so, at least I would say through the I-40 corridor, including Nashville. If it maintains its intensity, it means business for tonight. We will likely see power outages. We will see several trees down. It could create some damage for us here. So again, now is the time to make sure that you are prepared here. Let's take a look again, that's from yesterday. So EF0 tornado was a couple days ago. It's already been a pretty active week as far as severe weather goes in June, which is typically a month that we start to see that severe weather come down a little bit. But the severe thunderstorm watch has been extended now. We were talking earlier about how it was just in our northwestern counties. It's now been extended across all of Middle Tennessee and into southern Kentucky. So this is going to be a long night here. The line will move through pretty quickly, but we are going to be watching this line pushed through much of Middle Tennessee. So new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued. So I'm going to take our graphics off and let's take a look at this. Still looking at the tornado warning. Let's check and make sure that that is still there. Yeah. So we still have the tornado warning in Trigg County that will continue here. And we're likely on the edge of that tornado warning. We'll go back to our rotation tracker. Oh boy, seeing a little bit more rotation. We'll zoom back out here. And we'll do this. A couple of these will get us back to where we need to go. So that's quite a bit of shear that we have coming out of Christian County now. I would say it's on the edge of the tornado warn location. So it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with Christian County as far as extending that warning or letting it expire at 6:45, and we still have another 10 minutes to go with that warning here. So still looking at the tornado warning in Trigg County. That'll go for another 10 minutes. Looks like we are getting reports anywhere between 50 to 60 miles per hour that are moving southeast. So it's basically what we were looking at here. Time reaching into Nashville around 7:45. So not much time between now and then. I do want to head over to Scott Couch. He is sitting at the anchor desk helping me out this evening, checking out reports that are coming in. Scott, what do you have?
Katie, so far nothing on the National Weather Service chat room. However, we have talked to dispatchers in Cadiz, Kentucky, in the Trigg County area. They tell us they do definitely have trees that are already down and are receiving a number of phone calls. We've got a picture or two to share that come to us from the, right on the county line, right along Interstate 24, where Trigg County and Christian County come together. And I'm not sure what cloud formation that is, but it is.
Well, it's a shelf cloud.
All right.
That's a pretty classic shelf there.
Nothing good comes from the shelf cloud.
Nothing good comes from a shelf cloud.
Well, that's what people are looking at, and hopefully they are heeding our warnings tonight. I can tell you that the kind of winds we're talking about are the kind of winds that if hail is associated with them, it could do damage to your roof. It could injure animals and livestock that happen to be on the ground, but this is not the time to go out and try to gather in the livestock and bring them anywhere. I'm just telling you the reality of the winds and the hail that is possible with a storm like this. We are continuing to monitor. I received a report a moment ago from the National Weather Service that indicated that if the storm and the front continues to move along the trajectory that it is at the speed that it's now moving, which you said was between 40 and 50 miles an hour, that it would reach downtown Nashville by about 7:40 p.m. tonight. So while we're asking you to be weather aware, particularly speaking specifically to the people in Trigg County and Cadiz, Kentucky, and those in neighboring Christian County and so on, and Montgomery County as this continues to march this way. If you're in Robertson County, Dixon County, Humphreys County, Sumner County, Macon County, you need to pay attention because you can see the way the storm is moving. And again, the Weather Service expects it to, if it continues to move at the speed that's moving right now, which is really rapidly, about 40 to 50 miles an hour, it would reach downtown Nashville by 7:40 p.m. So as Katie mentioned a moment ago, now is the time that you want to make your plans. Be, weather aware, figure out where we're going to go. If things intensify, call your family members if they don't happen to be home. Make sure that they are watching their phones, downloading the Fox 17 News app. Did you learn anything new from the Weather Service?
Scott, I just think it's going to continue like this over the next couple of hours. Severe thunderstorm warnings are going to just continue to spread across the viewing areas. Severe thunderstorm warnings now into Todd County, and then now that extends through Montgomery County, southern portions of Stewart, all of Houston, and into Humphreys, into Benton. So you see that every inch of this line of thunderstorms here is severe warned. So that gives you an idea of what we are dealing with as far as this severe thunderstorm complex is concerned. I'm going to zoom out here. This is our composite radar, so it gives you a kind of an idea of what we're looking at as far as the entire line of thunderstorms, and that whole back half is now warned on with winds anywhere between 60 up to 70 miles per hour. That will do damage, quite a bit of damage, especially in the way that it is well constructed. And there is a lot of untapped energy here moving into Middle Tennessee. So it'll continue to feed off of the energy that we have in place now. If you've stepped outside, you know it's hot, it's humid out there. And that humidity, that moisture we have in the air, is all the fuel that this line needs to continue to go through the next few hours. So at this point, I do not expect a lot of weakening from the system, at least through the I-40 corridor. Beyond that, hopefully we'll start to see it weaken a little bit. But for now, it does look like it's going to continue to be pretty nasty for us here for the evening hours. So we'll go back to the home screen here and still monitoring that tornado warning that was in place for Trigg County. And let's see if, move that again, take that off. Looks like they still have it in place for now. So they haven't issued a new one. Well, that looks kind of interesting there, rolling into Christian County. A lot of these will kind of show these little ragged edges, what would normally look like a hook. And we could potentially see a spin-up tornado out of some of these ragged edges here along the leading edge of the line that's pushing through. So folks in Hopkinsville, please make sure that you are in your safe spot now. And I do want you all to take these severe thunderstorm warnings as if it is a tornado warning. You don't want to be around windows or any open space. Make sure you're sort of in an interior location in the lowest level of your home, and just make sure that you are staying safe that way. Make sure your cell phone is plugged in and ready to go for the potential for these thunderstorms to roll through. Scott, anything new coming out of the Weather Service right now you know of?
Katie, nothing additional. Let me walk over to the computer, though. Just so you know, we monitor the National Weather Service chat room. It's a place where law enforcement officers, sheriff's department, people who are trained weather spotters. The latest thing comes from Paducah. Radar indicated hail of 1.25 inches. And we continue to have the warning that we're under now till 6:45. As you say, they have not extended it at this point. Doppler indicated tornado located 7 miles west of Hopkinsville, but again, that is radar indicated, and that's why we're on the air.
Sure, and that's a lot of what we're going to see for tonight. Some of these locations that have the potential for a brief spin-up tornado. Our main concern is going to be those damaging wind gusts along the leading edge of this line here, and the torrential rain behind it. Again, we do have the flash flood warning that's in place. That's the darker red that you see here through Trigg County, Christian County, and it looks like Todd County too. That is where we've had history within the line of producing up to 2 inches of rain in just 20 minutes. That's a lot of rainfall in a short amount of time, and that could create flash flooding problems. Tons of lightning within this storm too. And we saw a few pictures earlier. It was very impressive, what we call a shelf cloud that has formed, sort of a low-hanging, long line of clouds looking very dark and even green from the sky itself. So that is probably going to be what you see as this moves in, if you see it before the sun sets. But we will continue to monitor the tornado warned location in Trigg County here, trying to get my bearings. Looks like they've actually updated the warning just to the corner of, just to the corner of Trigg County here. So interesting that they haven't extended that warning yet. But we continue to watch places just to the east of that towards Hopkinsville, where now we're starting to see a ton of that rain along with winds likely in excess of 60 miles per hour within the line here through Christian and eventually into Todd County. Also want to make sure that we are taking care of folks in Stewart County. We've been looking at showers and storms producing winds 60 up to 70 miles per hour. We'll put a line and a track on this, I'd say about 50 miles per hour. So here are some of the communities that we have, some of the smaller ones right along the main part of the line that's getting ready to impact here. McKinnon the next 5 minutes, Oak Grove in 4. I would say for folks in Clarksville, you likely have about 30 minutes before the line moves into Clarksville. So on the edge of Montgomery County now, and still looking at quite a bit of activity here moving through Christian County. Is that a new tornado warning that I see there? Yeah. Likely for this right here, south of Hopkinsville. Let me make sure that that is what we're seeing here. Yep. A new tornado warning that's been issued for Christian County. That's until 7:30. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Hopkinsville, moving east at 35 miles per hour. What I was looking at earlier here is probably confirm my suspicions. Just south of Hopkinsville right here, that's going to be the area of concern. We'll zoom in on that a little bit more. Again, that's the tornado warned location. We'll take a look at the rotation detection. Yeah, that's quite a bit of wind. So folks south of Hopkinsville, this is where the immediate threat is. I would say if you're in Hopkinsville, make sure you're in your safe spot as well. We're still seeing a lot of wind damage here within that line, but the immediate concern is going to be just south of Hopkinsville near Beverly. So this is right along I-169 towards 24. Right near Beverly right now, a little north of it, in fact, but quite a bit of wind here. So a rotation tracker, again, is a way for us to really hone in on where the spin is happening within the line of thunderstorms. And I would say from Hopkinsville to Beverly right now is our main concern for severe weather. A possible tornado with the tornado warning. So here's the tornado warning that's in effect now until 7:30. So that'll be another 45 minutes that we continue to watch this here. I'm going to go over to our velocity. And what's interesting about this one here is the fact that we're using our Hopkinsville radar. So here's our Hopkinsville radar, just to the south and east of it. But it's so close to the radar, we're getting a really good sampling of those winds right now. Keep in mind, the radar beam shoots higher up in the sky as it gets further out from okay, we've got a live camera here. Let's go to, okay, so this is Katie's. That's a live camera. So this is behind the main line. And boy, look at those winds. Wow.
I know that intersection.
Okay, so Scott knows quite a bit about Kentucky and Tennessee. Scott, what are you seeing here? Where is this?
That's just off of the interstate. In fact, from what we're looking at, the interstate is just to your right. You see the flags whipping, so it shows you the direction of the wind. And this is obviously one that has a lot of people out. This is from WKDZ Radio. They are a full-service radio station in the Cadiz area. They do news every day, and full service in the way that WSM Radio has and continues to be here in Nashville. You see that picture becoming a little clearer, and then all of a sudden it's bad again. So that would indicate that the rain is literally coming in waves, and you see the velocity. We told you early on that one of the big, dangers from this particular storm would be the high winds, and we have got them. Old Glory is standing at attention.
Yeah, Scott, and that's interesting, too, to note that it's behind the main line now, and we're still seeing winds 50 to 70 miles per hour. That is what we're seeing with the radar images coming in. Stronger winds even noted north of the Kentucky border in Christian County, and that's where we have our tornado warning right now. So we do want to go back and focus on this. And the radar picture is so close, so we're getting a really good sample at a low level where that tornado would be, of where these winds are right now. So the tornado warning around Hopkinsville and places just south of that remains in effect until 7:30 this evening here. So let me just see what we are measuring as far as winds go. 70 mile per hour winds, folks. And again, I mentioned this is pretty close to the radar. It's right here. So the closer they are to the radar, the better sampling we're getting, the better measuring we're getting as far as accuracy goes on how high these winds could be. Anywhere between 50 to 70 mile per hour winds right now rolling through Christian County. So even still, folks in and around Christian County, Pembroke, heads up, Trenton, make sure that you are inside, away from windows with this severe storm rolling through. Again, this is still within the tornado warned area, but folks in Pembroke still in that tornado warning too. Please make sure you're in your safe spot at this point. What you're seeing at the corner is a live picture from Katie's. And again, this is behind the main line that we have here. So what you're seeing is the main line is already pushed through, but we're still seeing behind the main line winds in excess of, I would say, 50 miles per hour at least, with some of these storms that are coming through. So very impressive, and I'll zoom out and you can see where we're looking at as far as Katie's goes. But you see Katie's is there in the green. So still seeing blinding rain and pretty breezy winds even behind the main line. So pretty impressive video to see there. But we do want to continue, and again, Scott, I'm a little concerned about this to our south in Hopkinsville, so we're going to keep an eye on this here, just north of Oak Grove, south of Hopkinsville, along 169, I-169 here. Folks in Pembroke, please make sure you're in your safe spot at this time. This is not something you want to mess with. This one is showing signs of rotation here, so south of Hopkinsville would be the most likely location where we're looking at damaging winds, and in addition to that, a potential tornado. Have not seen any reports yet out of Christian County, but the radar is definitely looking ominous as far as wind speeds go. We were just measuring these at about 70 miles per hour. 77 miles per hour. Again, low next to the radar, getting a pretty good sample of where those winds are. So now you can see that the wind has moved forward. We've got a new scan in, so we'll take that off. Folks in Pembroke, please make sure that you're in your safe spot. I would say right now the best likelihood for tornado is going to be just to the south and west of Pembroke. So in this area, just north of St. Elmo, east of Masonville in Christian County and headed towards Pembroke is going to be where the best rotation is at this time. We'll put a track on this here. This again is the tornado warning in Christian County that will continue for another about 40 minutes, and we'll say that's about 40 miles per hour. So folks in Pembroke, you've got 6 minutes now. Make sure you're in your safe spot. Elkton in 20 minutes, Bradshaw in 20, Claymore in the next 28 minutes. Again, this is a storm that has a history of showing brief spin up, rotation, and enough where the National Weather Service out of Paducah has gone ahead and issued that tornado warning. We'll go back to the radar picture and we'll zoom out a little bit just to show you again the main line. I expect these severe thunderstorm warnings just to continue to march south and east more into Middle Tennessee as we head deeper into the night. You can see they stretch all the way from Paris through Houston County, Stewart County, Clarksville, into Todd County as well, and eventually working its way towards Nashville. Time estimate in the next hour, I would say, in Nashville. So a quick moving line here at about 50 miles per hour is going to make things difficult for folks here in Middle Tennessee for tonight. Again, with the storms showing signs of 50 to 70 mile per hour winds, we could easily see power lines come down, trees come down. So make sure that you are prepared. You have your Skywatch 17 weather app ready to go, alerting you to the severe potential. Along with that, I want to make sure you have your cell phone charged in case the power goes out. Something you may not think about, but you want to make sure that you do have on hand. So we'll go back to the tornado warning. And again, we were looking at winds even beyond the main line, showing winds in excess of maybe 30 to 35 miles per hour behind the line, and still some blinding rain. So still watching the storm here. There's the newest scan. We may have to switch radars here in a minute because we're getting kind of close to the Hopkinsville, a little too close. But Scott, still looking ominous here for folks near Pembroke, again, where that tornado warning continues until 7:30. Do you have new information?
Projected to actually hit Pembroke right around 7 o'clock, so we want people to be aware of that clearly. Until 7:30, Christian County is under the gun, so to speak, for this tornado warning. We have spoken to folks in Paducah. They tell us fairly widespread damage in terms of trees down, things of that nature. And we also have another picture really close to the Todd and Christian County line. A minute ago, we showed you the shelf cloud. This is another one of those amazing cloud formations that tends to get people's attention, hopefully with, I guess, a good report that they would go indoors. This is one of those times. We had some guests in the studio now, and they just headed out, and I said, if I were you, I would go home. I would get my car in the garage if I had one. That's the type of storm we're talking about. Winds, which is to say that the winds are going to be substantial enough that if there's anything that is not tied down, it could easily be thrown around, could break windows at your home. So if you're in the Nashville vicinity right now and you're thinking about what could I do to prepare, if you've got a garbage can that doesn't have a lot of stuff in it, bring it in the garage if possible. If not, get it up right close to your house, maybe on the back porch so they can't be tossed around. If you have a swing that is associated with your porch, tie that down or release it if possible so that it can't swing around, knock into your house and break some windows. This is the type of wind we're talking about. Remember, even after it passed through the immediate Cadiz area, we still had winds of 50 miles per hour. And on the leading edge of this storm, and Katie warned us yesterday that it would bow out and that was really a dangerous part, because at a storm like that, you're looking on the leading edge of the storm, 70 miles an hour, and these are tornado-like winds. You know, when we follow hurricanes, 75 miles an hour, I believe, is where it becomes a hurricane. So you're talking about really, really strong winds that can do all sorts of damage. And despite the fact that some areas are not under a tornado warning, they are only under a severe thunderstorm warning. The winds from a severe thunderstorm can be every bit as damaging as a tornado. And remember, when you have a thunderstorm and we have a thunderstorm warning, that lets people know that this is a storm powerful enough that a tornado could drop down out of any strong thunderstorm. So you've got to be weather aware, you've got to be paying attention, and you've got to do the smart thing now before the storm hits your town. Yeah,
you're totally right, Scott, in that these types of tornadoes are going to be the ones that you don't get a lot of warning on. So it's just good to be indoors, away from windows, ahead of the line as it makes its way through the area. So the tornado warning does continue for Christian County, and this is for folks near Pembroke. Scott, new information coming in now?
Yes, this just rolled off. The National Weather Service has just issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Dixon County here in Middle Tennessee, southeastern Houston County, northern Perry County, Humphreys County, central Hickman County, and that is until 7:45. And again, that is a severe thunderstorm warning, and we just talked about that. 653 thunderstorms located along a line extending from Aaron to 7 miles northwest of Waverly near Brewston, and moving at 40 miles an hour. So, also a potential hazard, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and nickel-sized hail. And again, the radar has indicated these things. Radar has indicated 60-mile-an-hour winds, radar indicating nickel-sized hail.
And just outside of the viewing area, I was looking at reports of golf ball size hail in Kentucky. Yeah, so these storms again mean business as they move through. And again, we've been getting several reports out of Kentucky of several trees down. The thing that impressed me, we had a report of 2 boat docks on fire in the Land Between the Lakes area. In addition to that, there was a report of a flagpole that was actually bent from the winds that came through. So even though we're not all looking at tornado warnings, everybody or most of everyone here, even in Middle Tennessee later on tonight, is expected to see these thunderstorms roll through, and they are dangerous for this evening. So please make sure that you are going to take this seriously and make sure that you are getting prepared now if you're in Tennessee. I just saw a report just north of Clarksville. We have a weather station there, and ahead of that line, right along the leading edge likely, we're getting reports of 64-mile-per-hour wind gusts just north of Clarksville right now. So folks in Clarksville within the severe thunderstorm warning, make sure that you are going ahead and taking your safety precautions now. Here's the new warning that Scott was just talking about: Dixon County, Humphreys County, and now into Hickman County. And I'll tell you what, impressed with the Weather Service on how quickly they're warning ahead of the line. So this is really good to see that we're seeing warnings now being issued well ahead of the line here. Yep, there's another one that just came out. So new severe thunderstorm warning for Cheatham County, eastern portions of Montgomery County, northeastern parts of Dixon County, into Robertson County, and this one will go until 7:30. So that is a new severe thunderstorm warning that has just popped up now. Just to zoom out a little bit more here, we'll zoom out to our home screen. Look at how large this system is. Every inch of it is severe warned on right now, stretching from southern Kentucky into Middle Tennessee and even into portions of West Tennessee. Very well structured, what we call bow segment or bow echo, which typically bring us wind gusts anywhere between 60 to 70 miles per hour. in some cases, when they are very well structured, they can do significant damage. So again, this is not one that we want to ignore or take lightly for tonight. You need to make sure that you are getting prepared if you are ahead of this now. Now into the tornado warned location again in Christian County. It looks like, Scott, we have a new tornado warning that's been issued for Todd County. And that is going to be likely until 7:30. So that is another 30 minutes from now. So that is Todd County now. Tornado warning that extends into Elkton and Guthrie as we continue to watch the storm roll through here. I'm going to go to the Nashville radar because now we're starting to get radar. Yeah, now we're starting to pick up here on the rotation. This is our radar picking up on a rotating storm within the line as it's moving through. So there's the new tornado warning, and this is likely where we are looking at the potential tornadic activity moving through southern portions of Todd County. So we'll put on the rotation tracker, and there right on top of it, folks near Trenton and Elkton need to be in your safe spot right now. Trenton 5 minutes from now, Hardensville in 17 and Bradshaw 19, Allensville in 24. This is a storm that has the potential for a spin-up tornado. A lot of times we do not get a lot of warning on these. And again, they were all where we would see a tornadic potential will be on that leading edge. So even as the main line comes through, if you're not in southern Todd County, but within that main line, if it's approaching you now, please make sure that you're in your interior place in your house, away from windows. The damaging winds can be just as dangerous, but this one now is definitely our strongest spin that we have seen so far tonight. It looks like they issued a new severe thunderstorm warning. Boy, they just keep issuing warnings here. So new severe thunderstorm warning for portions of southern Kentucky.
Logan and Simpson counties.
Okay, Logan, yeah, they're Logan.
Until 7:45.
Simpson County, and these are the ones for Robertson County into Cheatham County. So this is all ahead of the main line. We'll go back to the radar so you can see that. But we continue to monitor here the potential for a tornado in southern Todd County. And that is right on top of Trenton right now as the main line continues to work its way through the area. I've switched over to our Nashville radar because as the line moves through, we tend to get issues with the rain on top of the radar dome. It can lead to problems as far as sending out accurate information. So we want to make sure that we change radars so we can see a little better where the rotation is located. Folks in Trenton, I'm not happy with where that rotation is. Make sure you're in your safe spot now. Elkton, Allensville, please make sure you're in your safe location at this time. All in Todd County. So, and it's almost intensified just a little bit here, just south of Trenton. We'll zoom in real close and get some of the names of the towns, or at least the highways here. So looks like Trenton over toward Pincham and Anderson. These are all small communities in Todd County that we're looking at here. So again, that is going to be where the immediate concern is, where our rotation tracker is pinpointing really where the best rotating part of the storm is. So just south of Trenton, and what you're seeing here, the circle, if you're just tuning in, is our actual rotation detection. So it's detecting rotation, and it continues to detect rotation just south of Trenton in Todd County. This will be just north of Guthrie and Haydensville, and over towards Allensville. Allensville, I need you in your safe spot. Same thing really for Guthrie and for Haydensville. It does look like the main rotation may pass just to the north of you, but with a new scan, we could see it shift a little bit with the way the line is moving. So all of you need to make sure that you're in your safe location now. In addition to that, too, really talking about any of these thunderstorms, you need to be in your safe location. So still looking at a pretty good signature on radar for the leading edge for potential tornadic activity rolling through southern Todd County as the storms race at about 50 miles per hour through much of southern Kentucky and now into portions of Middle Tennessee. So getting ready to roll through Clarksville now is the severe thunderstorm warning. So we'll zoom in here, And right on that leading edge again is where we need to be watching for spin-up tornadoes as well, but likely seeing wind gusts. We had a measurement around 64 miles per hour. So likely, again, we're going to be dealing with some trees down, potential power outages with this as well as the line continues to work its way south. But still some pretty intense rain, even on the back side of this. And earlier, too, we were getting reports of this rain exceeding 2 inches in 20 minutes time, which is a crazy amount of rain in a short amount of time here. Scott, you have new information?
We should probably mention, in association with the rain you were talking about, that's sort of the definition of a flash flood. So you should, be warned that if you see water over the road, don't drive. Right now, we're showing you a live picture from Montgomery County, from the Fox 17 News steer clear traffic car. And this is an area that has not gotten the torrential rains or the big winds yet. They are bracing for it, as are, some other parts of neighboring Christian County. But you see how dark the skies are. Fox 17 News sent a crew sort of into the belly of the beast so we could hunker down at the Sheriff's Department and be Johnny on the spot for reports of damage, and then bring that to you later in the evening as we get on the air with Fox 17 News at 9 and Fox 17 News at 10. However, no, as long as we have an active tornado warning in our viewing area, we will be on the air bringing you the information that could very literally save lives. And whatever was on television tonight, I'm sure we'll make arrangements to let you, steer you to where you can see that online, things of that nature, our regular programming. But this is why we are in the business that we were in, so that we can warn you of trouble. And I know so many people these days are looking at their apps on their phones, and they saw today there was only a 20% chance. You've got to, pay attention to a credible news source that can give you information like this. We have been warning you about the potential for these storms for a couple of days with Fox 17 News and our code red weather alerts. And we're very specific on the timing. We're very specific on the days. We're telling you, a day or two ahead of time that this is what could happen. So you can make plans to deal with your animals. You can make plans to, get your cars up and out of harm's way. Alert family members who may have had outdoor things planned. And this is the time of year where a lot of kids are still playing summer baseball all over Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. And again, we're looking at tornado warnings for a number of our counties until at least 7:30 and some of them 7:45. Katie?
Scott, I've got some news for the newsroom as well. May want to check on this. We're getting reports of significant damage to a house on Locust Grove Road. That's 1 mile from Liberty Church. I do have an address here in the studio if you want to come pick that up, but unfortunately this is in Christian County, Scott. Significant damage being reported in Christian County to one home. Just outside of the viewing area in Illinois now, we've just learned that this storm system is fatal. One person was killed when I believe it was a tree, killed when a tree fell onto a car, and that was in Illinois. But unfortunately now this whole storm system is a fatal one.
And southern Illinois is right across the Ohio River from Paducah. And on the National Weather Service chat room, we have a local storm report in Montgomery County where a train spotter is reporting trees down along Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. That's Highway 79. That's the major, essentially 5-lane road that runs in front of the Governor Square Mall in Clarksville. And it appears that Paducah has canceled the tornado warning for Christian County. Did you see that?
Yes, so that would mean that the tornado threat is now outside of Christian County. The tornado warning for Todd County continues as we are still monitoring this here. Now most likely east of Trenton, and there is the new scan that's just come in. So again, these are pretty ragged looking storms along the leading edge of the storm itself, so they're hard to pick out on as far as where the exact rotation is located. But boy, I would say for folks near Bradshaw to Haydensville and Allensville, all need to be watching this and in your safe spot right now. Just east of that, as we get more into Simpson County, I believe we're looking at the potential for even rotation there. So again, this is something that we need to be keeping an eye on here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can get a track on this. These have been moving pretty swiftly too at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. So putting a track on that here as we head more into Logan County here. Allensville in 9 minutes, Cave Springs in 20, and Russellville in 27 minutes from now. Notice behind the leading edge how much lightning is being produced here. I wouldn't be surprised if we're getting some hail up in northern Logan County with those reflectivities now into the magenta or the purple color. We're now getting the leading edge of that line pushing through Clarksville. If you're in and around the Clarksville area, if you can tweet at me and let me know what you're seeing in your safe location, make sure that you're not going outside taking pictures when it is not safe to do so. I want to make sure that you are staying safe first and foremost. But we would love to hear what you are seeing out there as we continue to monitor these storms as they roll through. So, one tornado warning in southern Todd County that will continue until 7:30. We're continuing to monitor Logan County closely for the potential of an extension of that warning, but for now, looking pretty intense as far as the storm, and then even a little bit of an inflow here just north of Guthrie. So I want to go to the shear rate here. Yeah. So that would most likely be now just north of Guthrie over towards Allensville, where we're looking at potential rotation and potential tornado. We've had several damage reports coming out of the line. Significant damage coming out of Christian County now of one home that has been damaged extensively. And the line just continues to march into Middle Tennessee. So now through Clarksville over to Camden and points to the south and the east. Oop, I'll put a big track on this here. See if we can't go back here and have a look at again, Nashville's nice and quiet for now, but I'm going to go back up to where the line is and put just a big track on it coming in from the line of Tennessee and Kentucky, and we'll move this at about 50 miles per hour in advance. And these are going to be some of the smaller communities that are impacted within the next few minutes. Charlotte, you've got 15 minutes from now, Tennessee City in 10, Cedar Hill in 8. So again, this is moving quickly. About 50 miles per hour isn't going to give you too much time to prepare. So if you're in Nashville, if you're in Murfreesboro, Columbia, Gallatin, Hendersonville, now's your time to make sure that you've got everything in place. That would be your weather radio along with a flashlight in case the power goes out. Make sure your cell phone is charged too. So we do continue to monitor this line as it moves through, and it seems like every time we think things are looking better, we get a new warning that comes in, but still a little concerned about the tornado warning that continues through Todd County here. So I mentioned Haydensville, Allensville, now most likely through Guthrie, but Guthrie just in the mix right now as far as the heavy rain and those lightning strikes that can continue. This is in Clarksville right now. So a live picture of the rain where I believe most of the heavy rain is now pushing through the Clarksville area. So we scroll a little bit further south here, you can see where we're looking at here. So a lot of heavy rain rolling through Clarksville, a lot of lightning associated with that as well.
That looks like Wilma Rudolph Boulevard to me, as our crew's probably trying to make its way over to Christian County to check out that home. Probably,
you're right. So the rain continues here. Now, of course, the area where the significant damage was reported is we're behind that, the main line. But main line is going to be where we have the best chance, or I should say the more significant damage reports will most likely be coming out of the main line of the storms.
The speeds that the Weather Service is tracking now out of Nashville are still 60 miles per hour. We told you a moment ago, and it still holds true, that if the storm continues to move at the pace it is, it'll be in downtown Nashville by 7:40. And when we first started talking about that, it seemed like a long way off. It's now 7:12, so 7:40 is less than 30 minutes away. And we have hail at least indicated with this thunderstorm warning that continues for Dixon, Hickman, Houston, Humphreys, and Perry County, nearly an inch, 0.88. So these storms do still have the potential of producing hail, and you need to be prepared to deal with that. If you've got an automobile and you've got a place to bring it under cover, now would be an excellent time to do that, because that kind of hail could damage your car, could possibly even break some windows.
Yeah, Scott, I was just looking at a report coming out of the Montgomery County area. We're still looking at winds 50 to 70 miles per hour here. In addition to that, looking here just to the west or east of Clarksville, I should say, excuse me, moving into Robertson County, where they were looking at winds potentially close to 80 miles per hour. So let's take a look at the wind speeds out of our Nashville radar using our velocity product here. So this is a way we can measure. And even here, seeing a little bit of rotation along that leading edge there. You can see the darker colors next to the brighter greens is indicating where we're getting a little spinning motion. Not enough to be concerned for a tornado at this point. But I'm telling you, with this line, you want to take all of these thunderstorms seriously here. So that is going to be what we need to continue to watch as we head through the evening hours. Back up to the tornado warning that continues for Todd County, southern Todd County now. Still seeing some relatively decent rotation, and from our rotation tracker, a lot of times too, this will show us where straight line winds are just blowing wind out of the thunderstorm, creating quite a bit of wind power along that leading edge. So we'll need to maintain vigilance here if you're in this location. Intense rain up here in Logan County near Cave Spring into Russellville. There's the newest scan. This is likely intense rainfall. Look at all the lightning associated with it just within this view. That is a lot that we are talking about here. So we will continue to watch. See if I can move this down. So there's your total strikes just within view right now. I'll move that over here so we can keep that in view. That's a lot of lightning. And what it's doing is counting how much lightning we have just in this one location, and that's quite a bit. Still watching this little inflow here. That is what was warned on as far as the tornado warning goes, and still showing a little bit of a notch right on the corner of Todd and Logan counties. And we'll go back to our rotation tracker, and there it's picking up on the same thing just north of Adams here. The potential for a brief spin up in now northern Robertson County, corner of southern and southeastern Todd, and then also into southern Logan County in Kentucky. We want to go back live to Clarksville right now, where we are continuing to show quite a bit of rain, a lot of rainfall coming through. I believe that is where we have our reporter, Erica Glover, and she is I would assume most likely on our way to Christian County to check out the damage from the home in Christian County. Yeah. But going through quite a bit of rain there in Clarksville, you can see that windshield wipers are going pretty fast. Along with that, Scott, we've been looking at winds still pretty breezy on the edge of the heavier rainfall.
Believe it or not, there are no reports of storm damage in Todd County, the Elkton area, as yet, and that is just to the east of Montgomery County, just on the other side of the Tennessee-Kentucky border. In fact, Highway 79 right in front of the mall, Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. You stay on that, it'll take you right over to the Elkton area, which is the heart of Todd County, and you can see how hard the rain is coming down. And again, this is not all we have to worry about. Unfortunately, as Katie was showing, on the backside of the leading edge of the storm, after the big winds come through, then you have to contend with lightning and potential hail.
Scott, getting more reports coming in too of the radar showing winds up to 90 miles per hour at 700 feet near Adams in northwest Robertson County. That's where we are here. So right here. And that would be where we could have that was the edge of the tornado warning. Could have we have not heard from Paducah out there, or it would be actually Louisville now. So we'd be changing National Weather Services and whether or not they're going to reissue the warning. This still has me concerned. From Nashville, they were saying that winds were being measured close to 90 miles per hour, just 700 feet up from the Nashville radar picture. Wow, 82 mile per hour winds. Even if we are looking at, even if there's not a tornado on the ground, these are tornado winds here that we're talking about. 82 mile per hour winds. Folks in Adams, please make sure that you are in a safe spot right now around Cedar Hill, even up towards Dodd and Oakville. Southern Logan County, if you're just tuning in for reference here, this is the border, the Tennessee-Kentucky border. This is Southern Logan County, Northern Robertson County. Winds up to 90 miles per hour within this cell as it moves through Northern Robertson County right now. Scott?
Katie, the National Weather Service has just issued a tornado warning for Robertson County until 8 o'clock. So that would coincide with exactly what you're talking about. They're talking about the gusty winds, flying debris, dangerous, that sort of thing. They're expecting it to be in the Springfield area around 7:30, Greenbrier 7:35, Ridgetop and Cross Plains at 7:40, White House and Millersville around 7:45. And you mentioned Cedar Hill, Adams, Orlinda, all of these areas in the northern part of Robertson County just below the Tennessee line.
Yeah, so here's that tornado warning that Scott just read off. This is going to go until 8 o'clock this evening, and we are looking at a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. We were just looking at the wind speeds at 82 miles per hour, and we're getting, again, close to at least the radar. They were measuring from the Hopkinsville radar. We were measuring from the Nashville radar, and even still seeing winds close to 80 miles per hour from the radar picture here. So again, folks, I want to stress we've got the tornado warning that's in place for Robertson County, but these winds, these severe thunderstorms, are not something to mess with either. They should not be taken lightly. We are looking at several reports now of winds anywhere between 60, 70, and now some reports close to 90 miles per hour. And what we're doing is measuring those winds just above the surface. So those winds are happening just above the surface and can sometimes mix down to where we are here on the ground. So again, these are intense thunderstorms that continue through Middle Tennessee this evening. I'm going to put a track on the tornado warn location here, and we'll move this out at about, what did you say that was, Scott? About 50 miles per hour, I would guess, about 45 to 50, just for timing purposes. Okay, 45 miles per hour, so
East.
Cedar Hill now. Make sure you're in your safe spot at this point. Springfield in 11 minutes, Orlinda in 22, Cross Plains in 23. We are talking about a tornado warned storm in Robertson County now that will be in effect until 8 o'clock this evening as we continue to see quite a bit of warnings here across all of Middle Tennessee now and into southern Kentucky.
The National Weather Service up in Louisville, as you indicated, had taken over, and they have issued a severe thunderstorm warning for east central Logan County, Simpson County, which is right on the line above Nashville, Allen County, Warren County, and west central Barron County, which is Glasgow, all of these in southern Kentucky. Yeah,
so the new warning just coming out that Scott read off, that was at 8 o'clock here, and this goes in effect until 8 o'clock, includes Bowling Green, Franklin, just on the edge of Scottsville, I believe. So we'll continue to monitor these storms with severe winds up to 70 miles per hour likely, but still going to concentrate our efforts here on the tornado warning that we have in effect for Robertson County. This is northern Robertson County. Winds have been estimated around 90 miles per hour in the northern corner of Robertson County. We'll put our rotation tracker on. It gives us an idea of where we're looking at potential rotation within the storm just to the east of Adams and north of Cedar Hill. Springfield in the path of the tornado warning, within the tornado warn location. So please, in the Springfield area, take your safety precautions now, your tornado precautions in the lowest level of your home away from windows. Really, anyone in the path of these thunderstorms, which is going to be the majority of Middle Tennessee, needs to take tornado precautions with these severe thunderstorm warnings that you have coming through because they are just producing damage where the line is pushing through. There's just been significant damage in Kentucky, throughout Illinois, and now starting to see the line move into Kentucky or Tennessee, I should say. So we're still watching here. Severe thunderstorm warning for points in Montgomery County, just on the edge of Davidson County now that we're talking about. Line extends into Dixon and points south towards the Tennessee River. Concentration still in Robertson County, which shows a notch, what we call a notch or a little inflow here, where winds are feeding into the storm and able to help it rotate a little bit. So that is going to be where we have the potential rotation within the storm in Robertson County that continues until 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. So the tornado warning will continue for us here until 8 p.m. in Robertson County. Folks in Springfield, I need you to make sure that you're taking your safety precautions at this point. Put a track on it again, moving at about 45 miles per hour. Some of the other communities in the path here: Springfield the next 8 minutes, Adairville in 4, Cross Plains 20 minutes from now, Mitchellville in 26 minutes. Expecting this potential tornado to move closer to your neck of the woods. But again, these winds not to mess with. So brief spin up tornadoes likely within this storm, but also looking at the potential for damaging straight line wind gusts in excess of 60 to 70 miles per hour. And that's what we continue to see through here, Springfield. I want to quickly mention the fact that we do still have the watch that is in effect for us until 1 a.m. and this is going to be the line that's moving through now. So the watch continues until 1 o'clock in the morning for all of Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. The line has continued to show quite a bit of strength as it makes its way into Middle Tennessee. It's moving into an area that has built up quite a bit of energy, quite a bit of storm juice, if you will, throughout the afternoon. And it's just sitting there waiting to be gobbled up. And that's what we have going on now with the storms rolling through. So still monitoring the tornado warning in Springfield. Quite a bit of rain and lightning over Springfield now, but the tornado warn location could even see some hail here. Had reports just outside of the viewing area of golf ball size hail with these storms. Now, hail's not going to be our primary concern. It will be wind, but we could definitely see some hail within these storms. We put on the hail size right now, estimated. There's the storm tracker picking up on rotation again in Robertson County. So the tornado warning, there's what we're picking up on now. Let me zoom out. We're going to clear this off. Clear that off. Yep. And we're going to go back to radar as we're now detecting where the velocity is. And we'll zoom in.
Is that where you would, I guess, detect the potential for spin-up tornadoes?
Yes. So what we have going on here, Scott, well, that looks pretty interesting there. Just north and west of Springfield, that's where the potential rotation is. What our radar is picking up on is rotation within the storm. Usually we need a couple scans before it's picking up on a specific number of or miles per hour. So picking up on an incredible amount of wind that may be circulating now and producing a tornado. So velocity here showing pretty decent way and towards where the winds are going away and towards. So that indicates again where we could potentially have some tornadic activity. So in between Cedar Hill and Springfield right now is where I'm watching for rotation. And yeah, there's our rotation tracker picking up on that rotation in between Cedar Hill and Springfield again. So we'll put a track on this here and move it out. I'm going to move out a little bit so we have some room. Folks in Robertson County, just north of Springfield. Folks in Springfield, make sure you are already in your safe spot. Orlinda and Cross Plains need to be in your safe locations now as well. This is the area of concern. We are watching it very closely. Radar is picking up on spin as well. That's what this circle is that you see here. Then a rotation tracker, what you see on the screen. And we'll take lightning off so you can see a little bit more, a little bit better. So, and then zooming in a little bit closer here, what you're seeing is a concentrated area that the radar is picking up on an area of high winds that are rotating around each other. So now in Springfield, just north of downtown, folks in Springfield need to be in your safe spot, lowest level of your home, away from windows. This is a tornado warned storm that'll go until 8 o'clock. Moving into the Springfield area. Radar is picking up on rotation detection right now and shows sign that we could have a spin-up tornado moving through the greater Springfield area in Robertson County. This is going to be west of 431 and moving east at about 45 miles per hour. So still watching the area of rotation here, again, where the tornado warning continues until 8 o'clock. So folks in and around Springfield right now. So here's Mount Denson, Springfield, Perry Park, Oakland, all places that need to be in, communities that need to be watching the storm in a safe location. If you cannot watch it on your TV, you need to have the Fox 17 News app. You can watch us. We're streaming it right now. If you're not able to be near a TV, we're also on the radio as well with our radio partners from Cromwell. So you can tune in to the Game 2, Classical 93.3. Those are all radio stations that we have that will simulcast our coverage, our weather coverage here. If you are not able to see us on television. So still pretty concerned, Scott, with this tornado warning through Robertson County, just north of Springfield. So places just north of there, even right along 431, need to be in your safe spot right now.
Katie, just as one area, blows up, another expires. The Weather Service has allowed the warning that we had for Todd County, Kentucky, the Elkton area, to expire. We still are monitoring, trying to find out if there are any damage reports. So far, we don't have anything in Robertson County, although we do have a picture to share with you. And while we're putting that up, I can share with you that there are at least 500 people right now that are without electricity in Clarksville. And again, that's an area the storm has already passed through. This is a great picture. Robertson County, a rural area, probably in the Adams area, north of the city of Springfield, which is under the gun right now, and one of those areas that the storm passed through a moment ago. But you can see that that ominous cloud offering people a threat of what Mother Nature had in store for them. Right now, we want to show you our Dixon camera, and we had reports out of Van Leer, which is on the edge of Dixon County, a moment ago. Let me share that with you, the information that they had power outages reported in Van Leer as well. And this is live, right just off of Interstate 40 at Highway 46, car lot there. We show this one a fair amount. And you see the clouds, and it looks like there might be a little bit of a break on the backside of those. And, Dixon is one of those areas that, has not gotten this full force, at least that we've talked about, as yet.
Yeah, Scott, and we're probably on the leading edge of where the winds are coming through now in Dixon. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that's been issued. It does include, let me go back to that. It does include.
I've got that one. Lewis County, northern Wayne County. These are Middle Tennessee. Southwestern Dixon County, the northwestern part of Murray County, Perry County, southwestern Humphrey, and Hickman County, the Centerville area. And that, again, National Weather Service severe thunderstorm warning.
There we go.
In effect until 8:15, so another 45 minutes.
So here's the one Scott was just talking about until 8:15. We have a new one, too, that's been issued for Davidson County, Williamson County, other portions of the eastern portions of Cheatham County, and portions of northern Murray County, and that'll go until 8:15, too. So we're just extending those warnings out, so you're getting plenty of lead time on these warnings here as we continue to see winds anywhere between 50 to 70 miles per hour. And they're scattered throughout the line. But again, this one means business here, so make sure that you are inside, away from windows. Even with severe thunderstorms coming through, sometimes we can get tree limbs or branches that'll come down and unfortunately can break windows, even within severe thunderstorms. Make sure, too, your cell phones are charged in case we do have power outages. I haven't heard very many. We do have a few in Stewart County and other locations in Montgomery County, right, Scott? About 500
in Montgomery and a few in Van Leer. I don't have a number on that. That's in the the far western part of Dixon County.
Yeah, so we've had reports of power outages with this. We've had several reports across the entire area of trees down. We have one report of significant damage in Christian County to a house. We're trying to get more information about that. But we do continue, too, to monitor the tornado warning as it makes its way through Robertson County. The area of concern was just north of Springfield. And still seeing a little bit of that, what we call gate to gate, where we get winds that are going to and from the radar real close together. So right on top of Springfield now is where we are likely seeing the potential for at least a tornado. So the tornado warning will continue for us until 8 o'clock with this. So folks still in the Springfield area, not in the clear, I want to make sure that you are still taking your precautions here. The severe thunderstorm warnings now are stretching nearly halfway across our viewing area. So I'm going to zoom out so I can clear that off and zoom back into the Robertson County tornado area. And I want to go and take a look and see measuring, just north of Springfield here. That would be where I'm mostly concerned. So just north of downtown, really looking at very gusty winds in all locations of Springfield right now. I did want to measure that and see what we're looking at here. 55-mile-per-hour winds near Springfield as this whole storm pushes to the east at about 50 miles per hour. And again, I mentioned those higher wind speeds are going to be sporadically placed within the whole line of thunderstorms that roll through. Still concerned, I would say, just to the north and east of downtown Springfield, Oakland, and Hubertville. All need to be in your safe spot now. Right there. Rotation tracker right there on top of where I was just looking at, showing intense areas of rotation where we're seeing a concentrated area of winds going to and from the radar, and that is going to be where we need to be monitoring for a potential tornado, brief spin-ups that can occur and quickly produce damage as this line moves through. I'm going to put a track on that here. We'll zoom out a little bit. And radar's actually got a tag on it as well. We'll put radar back on so you can see it right there. And we will track that just from the northeast of Springfield at about 45 miles per hour. So Cross Plains in 12 minutes, Providence 17 minutes from now, Mitchellville, Portland, and Franklin 24 minutes before this area of the line moves through your neck of the woods. So again, here we're looking at intense rainfall, heavy amounts of lightning. I have the lightning turned off on the radar, so can't really see it at the moment, but there is tons of lightning with this. Starting to get a few more reports too on Twitter from viewers that are telling me what's going on. I've been seeing reports of heavy rain, lots of lightning and thunder, and breezy winds too. So we'll continue to monitor that. Looks like Scott, I was just monitoring the chat room too, kind of reiterating what I was just stating here. They're concerned as well with the wind damage threat with these storms, and the winds will ramp up from a near calm to 60-mile-per-hour winds very quickly within the line, and that's again what we do want to stress here. Let's quickly go down to Davidson County and Nashville. So now included in the severe thunderstorm warning. This will go until 8:15. We'll put a track on it here, center it more there. I want to track this out about 45 miles per hour to 50. So here are some of the communities you have now. TSU 8 minutes, downtown Nashville, expecting the line to reach downtown in the next 10 minutes or so. Vanderbilt 10 minutes, Hendersonville and Bellevue in the next 10 to 12 minutes, expecting that line to be approaching the downtown area. So you have 10 minutes now to make sure that you are ready to go with this line as it rolls through. So even though, again, we're looking at some of these winds that may not seem too bad at one point, they can ramp up quickly and produce severe wind gusts. 67, we've seen 60 to 70 mile per hour winds, close to 80 mile per hour winds with some of these storms rolling through, Scott.
Katie, we've got some video from one of our news partners out of the Springfield area in Robertson County. Just a short video, but you see the lightning, you see the trees bending over. It's a really short video. We'll play it for you again. But it shows you the power and the fury that this storm is packing. Weather Service is also from Memphis issuing a severe thunderstorm warning for our western counties, and they include Henderson and Benton, McNairy, Carroll, Hardin counties, East Central, Chester, and Decatur counties. Some of these counties are in our viewing area, and again, they're under a severe thunderstorm warning until 8, and we are still under a tornado warning in Robertson County until that time. And again, that video, that short clip came from Robertson County. It was coming down. Yeah, and now getting reports too of winds out of northwest Davidson County approaching the downtown area, measuring anywhere between 60 to 70 miles per hour. So likely looking at winds coming out of Coopertown, Pleasant View, and Jolton, just ahead of Jolton here. So we'll put on our measuring tool, and right there, So this is now, here's the Davidson County line, here's Cheatham County, here's Davidson County, measuring winds at about 60 to 70 miles per hour.
And you can see the radar actually putting a track on where those severe winds are coming from. So let's zoom out, and I will show you a track here. So winds on that northern edge. Here's downtown Nashville. These are likely moving east southeast. Again, 45, 50 miles per hour right here. And you can see that again, downtown locations here within the next 10 minutes. Expecting winds that could be calm at one point, close to 50, 60, maybe even 70 miles per hour. So again, we're getting into two more densely populated areas, a lot more trees with power lines nearby that may cause power outages. So one more time, make sure that you are ready with the cell phone, that you've got power, maybe a flashlight, and some candles nearby in case the power goes out with these thunderstorms that roll through. Some areas may not be seeing quite as much wind, Scott, but others are seeing a lot of wind at the moment. We're starting to get some specific damage reports. A tree down in the 400 block of Keysburg Road in Adams. That's just north of Springfield. Radar showing 60 and 70 miles an hour winds over Springfield, moving to the southeast into Davidson County. Well, we're told that the power is out right now at the Beasley Apartments next to Walmart over in Dixon, so it's moving into that area. Charlotte, the intersection of West Cedar and North Charlotte, reports of tree damage there with winds estimated somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 miles an hour. And as Katie indicated, as these storms now move into more heavily populated areas, you've got more cars on the highway, you've got more people at home, so I suspect that we will have a lot more people that will be experiencing the storm with the loss of power probably in the next 15 or so minutes. Now, Scott, we just have a new tornado warning that's been issued for southern Kentucky. This is for Allen, Simpson, and Warren, Kentucky until 8:15. National Weather Service out of Louisville has issued this, and there it is. So again, we're talking more about these leading edge. You can almost see like a little arm that's sticking out there, and that is indicating the potential for a little hook. Well, that is really looking like what we call an arm, or a Popeye arm. But that right there, just to the east of Hillsdale, and there's the new scan coming in, looking pretty ominous now. This is rolling towards Butlersville, just north of Chapel Hill, and headed towards Gainesville. So this is, again, for 3 different counties. Let me get my bearings real fast. This is Scottsville here. So we're talking about the very northern edge of Simpson. I'd say the immediate threat is on the edge of Simpson County now. This is more for Allen County and into the southern portion of Warren County. So Bowling Green is here. The main concern is going to be pushing right along the edge of Warren County and Allen County in Scottsville. So this right here is going to be the area of concern. And I'll tell you what, just looking at it, Scott, still looking pretty ominous down here in Robertson County. So let's zoom in on that real fast. And that's even looking ominous, just north of Greenbrier, headed towards White House, Cross Plains, all places that need to be in your safe spot right now. I'll go ahead and make sure. Let's see, they've extended the severe thunderstorm warning. But at any point, we could see these winds spin up a quick, brief tornado. So right now, nothing warned on at the moment, which is good news. But we will continue to monitor even the storm that continues where the tornado warning is. So it is still within the tornado warning. Looks like they've cut back on it here. So this is the eastern side of Robertson County that we do continue to monitor for potential tornadoes. So right now, 2 tornado warnings in the viewing area. We have one in eastern Robertson County and the new one that's just been issued in Allen County that will skirt along Allen and Warren County line. Expected to stay south of Bowling Green. Scottsville a little bit close for comfort. So we want to make sure that you are in your safe spot right now. And still, Scott, that's looking pretty dangerous here. What do you got over there?
I've got a picture that I can share with you. I was just on the T-Dot computer trying to call up one of the cameras. Here's about as north as I can get. This is Interstate 65 just north of Bethel Road. That's right at the top of the hill. You might have noticed the lightning. Look at the far top left-hand part of your screen.
Oh, yeah.
That's the leading edge of this storm. And this is right on the edge of Sumner County and Robertson County, just outside of Orlinda before you get to Portland on the other side of the interstate. And these cars are marching, and the weather is marching as well. And I'm not sure who's moving faster at this juncture.
Wow, Scott, just getting a report that almost 10,000 without power in Clarksville. May have to look at that.
It can happen.
Yeah.
They've got two departments up there, the city, the Clarksville Department of Electricity, and also the Cumberland Electric Membership Cooperative. They had at least 500 earlier, and as the storm has moved through, the Sango areas, it marches toward Robertson County, it could quite frankly have taken out a number of people because those are heavy populated.
Yeah, also getting reports of power outages now in Jolton, Ashland City, and Dixon. If we can in the back, just for visual purposes, if we can move our tower cams from downtown overlooking towards the west. Okay, so I can actually pull them up from here. So let's take a look at Nissan Stadium. Not looking too bad at the moment, but that'll be changing here. Also, our city view camera looking pretty dark. Look at that.
Wow.
Yes, so we are also looking at a pretty ominous view from our city view camera. Let's take a look at Sky Eye. We'll take that from the back and have a look at how it's looking. Yeah, from the back there, so you can actually see the lowering of the cloud base there, just above the surface. So
sure, and that's looking almost straight south. That's Cumberland Science Museum with the pyramid over on the left and Interstate 65 with the cars.
Yeah, so let's go back to the radar picture and have a look. Again, we're still monitoring two different tornado warnings in the viewing area right now. The one in Robertson County continues, and this one will go for another 15 minutes. That expires at 8 o'clock. And then we also have the one that we're monitoring in Scottsville. So still looking at some decent rotation within the storm. We'll go back to our rotation tracker. And that's a pretty concentrated area of rotation. So I'm going to zoom in on this one here. We'll take a quick look at this and we'll go to the other one in Allen County. There we go. So Butlersville need to be in your safe spot right now around 231. This is in Allen County here, Gainesville and Scottsville. Quick spin up is possible within this storm as it continues to roll through Allen County. Getting reports of the winds starting to pick up in White House and also through Dixon. So Dixon in the thick of it. And now we're getting into Davidson County here, the leading edge of the line. Rolling through Davidson County. I saw a few reports of wind gusts being measured anywhere between 60 to 70 miles per hour within the line here in Davidson County. So we'll zoom in on that. Where is that again? Wow, look at the lightning. This is up near White House, one of the traffic cameras, and you can see the lightning every now and then off in the distance, along with the rain that's coming down through White House right now.
That's just south of Highway 25 on 65, just below the state line, really close to the Portland and the Orlando area. A moment ago, we were looking at that. That's where the heavy clouds are right above that. So in just a number of minutes, it moves in, and really visibility, even from our vantage point, is nothing. And we're starting to hear some wind and thunder here at the Fox 17 studios, which located in the Metro Center area. And this is a picture right over top of our station.
Wow.
That's one of our tower cams. You can see it shaking. Is that a shelf cloud as well?
This is all a shelf cloud. So everything that you see that'll be coming in will be, the shelf cloud will be the leading edge. The entire bow echo will look like one long blanket of a dark cloud that'll come through. Now, right along the leading edge, which is what we're seeing coming through the Metro Center camera. So this is on top of our studio. We can hear it, Scott.
I know.
We can hear the wind. And that is one monster looking storm that's rolling through.
I just saw the first raindrop too, so the rain is about to come. First the winds and then the rain.
Yeah, so this is going to be where we have the biggest threat for severe wind. And then behind that, still looking at very gusty winds along with heavy rain. Reports of torrential rainfall in just 20 minutes time of 2 inches of rain. So quickly, let's take a look at Metro Center where we are located, and we are getting that front edge of the storm that is starting to move through right here. So right along the leading edge is where we are seeing winds close to, I would say, 60 miles per hour. So we'll zoom in even more right on top of where we are, in fact. Near Bordeaux, and we measure how fast they are moving, estimating anywhere between, well, that's not what I want. I have to go back out, clear that out, and we'll go back in. But I would guess we're looking at 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts here within the storm that's moving through now. So let's see if we can measure that.
We're losing cameras on the TDOT SmartWay traffic network right and left, I assume, because of the rain and the high winds. You know, one moment they're there and you've got a little bit of visibility, the next, no connection. Yeah,
and again, that's going to be due to all that wind coming through right now, estimating 40, 50, 60 miles per hour. Is that coming in from outside?
That was lightning and thunder from just outside our place.
Yeah. So we're hearing quite a bit from here.
I'm going to do something old-fashioned and go look out the back door.
You should, yeah, be careful. We're going to be looking at these winds again, anywhere between, I'd say 50, 60. We've been getting sporadic reports across the entire line as we continue to see quite a bit of wind come through the Nashville metro area. Do we have a live shot of here? Oh, wow.
The winds are coming through. I can report that firsthand.
That is, okay, so Scott just came in from outside. We could hear the wind on your microphone.
My goodness, yes, just like we saw in those other areas.
Yes, look at this shot here. This is right outside of Metro Center, looking towards downtown.
Keep an eye on the trees. You see some of them waving, and closer to the ground, they're probably waving all the more. But there's debris flying, and we haven't even really gotten it yet.
Yeah, so this is all starting to come in now. It's not raining yet, so this is all the wind along that leading edge that we are watching now to rolling through downtown Nashville. There's a live look from Briley.
Sure, that's just south of Ashland City Highway, and that is not too terribly far from the station, but if you'll notice, it is shaking, and that's a direct result of the wind gusts that you're talking about.
Yeah. Let's quickly go back to the radar picture here. We do want to continue to monitor the tornado warned locations. In addition to, again, this is one of those nights where the severe thunderstorm warnings are going to be something we need to keep as much of attention on, along with the severe thunderstorm, or I should say the tornado warnings, because we are looking at just quite the impressive line, as you just saw from our sky camera here. The tornado warning in Allen County does continue. Time now is 7:50, and we are seeing a rotation detection here from our radar just outside of Scottsville in Allen County. So again, this is going to be the area of concern, and we put on the velocity tracker, and that shows us kind of where the area of winds are going to and from are, along with the shear just outside of Scottsville. So in Allen County, the tornado warning will continue until 8:15. But we want to keep an eye on this. Folks in Scottsville need to be in your lowest level now, taking tornado precautions now. This is showing rotation that is inching very close to Scottsville. And we'll put a track on this one here in 8 minutes. Expecting the area of rotating part of this storm to enter Scottsville in the next 7 minutes now. So you really don't have a lot of time. You want to make sure that you are taking your precautions right now and you are headed to your safe spot, because I do not like the look of that right now. Scott?
Katie, I've got some video from Metro Center where the winds have picked up even more, and there is that shelf cloud that Katie was talking about and everything emanating from that. We also have information from downtown Nashville just into our newsroom that the Ascend Amphitheater, which is an outdoor venue for music, has been evacuated. Billie Eilish, pop singer, very popular, sold-out show there, has been evacuated. We can try to get a look at some of our downtown cameras and see if we can see some of the folks moving away from that area. But the storm that is hitting everywhere else is now coming into Nashville. You see downtown off in the distance. It looks a lot further away than it actually is from that vantage point. We're no more than a few minutes now. This is downtown Nashville from one of our cameras atop one of the buildings downtown, L&C Tower Cam. This is the one we're looking at, and you can see how low that cloud cover is. It looks like it's about to cover up what is the crane word I'm searching for? It looks like the crane's about to be swallowed by the cloud.
Yeah, that's a real ominous looking picture. That one, and then the one we just saw with the downtown skyline in the background. Scott, still getting more reports. An estimated 60-foot tree down on a house in Fairlawn, Williamson County, or Fairview in Williamson County here. So still starting to get more reports coming in. power outages in Bellevue, and anywhere between 50 to 70 mile per hour winds coming into downtown Nashville right now, as you can see from our sky cameras here. So we have multiple things that we need to be keeping an eye on. I don't want to ignore a very tight looking rotation here coming through Scottsville. If you're in Scottsville and Allen County, you need to be in your safe spot right now. We continue down then through Portland, seeing quite a bit of intense rainfall. Folks in Westmoreland, heads up. This is moving in momentarily. Gallatin, I'd say you have about 2-3 minutes before this is moving through. Hendersonville getting ready to move on top of you. And now moving into downtown Nashville. Scott said Ascend Amphitheater has been evacuated because folks need to be inside, no doubt, with this coming in. 50 to 70 mile per hour winds. It's going to do quite a bit of damage. We've had several reports of trees down. We have flash flooding happening along with a ton of lightning. In fact, I'll put on our lightning just for a moment so we can see some of the bolts, the strikes that are happening now.
Katie, the Weather Service radar showing 50 to 70 mile an hour winds all across the Nashville area right now. Yeah, and that's moving through downtown as we speak. So look at the Nissan Stadium camera, and that's what we're seeing downtown at the moment. So it really is inching closer to the downtown location. The riverfront camera, you can probably see the flags waving in the wind just a little bit. And then our city view camera here also showing the rain that has pushed through now this location. This is looking towards downtown, I believe from full 40, looking into the area, into the downtown location. So again, we're still monitoring here. We've got the tornado warning back in Allen County. We'll go back up there for 1 minute and check it out. A lot of multiple areas here, like one here, just north of Hendersonville, little notch or little bit of area where we could be seeing some rotation. A lot of these locations along the leading edge will need to be monitored for that potential rotation here within the line as it comes through. So the most important part of the line that you need to be monitoring is that leading edge. And then as that heavy rain begins to move through, you'll need to keep in mind the flash flooding potential here that should remain localized. I'm not expecting widespread flash flooding, but it does need to be monitored as we go through here. So still looks like the rotation in Scottsville has weakened just a little bit, which would be good news, but still showing some rotation in southern Allen County up in southern Kentucky. So we'll go back closer to downtown where we have a lot of the thunderstorms that are starting to come through now. And I'd say Franklin, you still probably have about 15, maybe 20 minutes before we start to see more action in Williamson County. So again, the winds have been estimated anywhere at 50 to 70 miles per hour as this line of thunderstorms starts to come through here. On the wrong radar, I think. There we go. So still monitoring this here. We've been getting a lot of reports of more power outages that are coming through, along with, again, the threat for trees to come down and the torrential rain along with it. So still watching here. We've got a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings in effect that it extends across the entire line from the Tennessee River, beyond that into West Tennessee, all the way into southern Kentucky here as this line continues to push its way south, moving at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. And Scott, about an hour ago, we were estimating the line to be into Nashville, downtown Nashville, about this time. So here we are, it's almost 8 o'clock, and the storms continue to roll through. Moving a little slower than it was at one time, and the power outages are following the leading edge. Mm-hmm. So here's a look, just kind of a large look at the entire line as it rolls through, and we continue to see just an impressive amount of lightning with this, along with the showers and storms that continue to push through all of Middle Tennessee here, just leaving a blanket of damage really in its wake. So we will stick with this here as it works its way through Nashville, downtown Nashville. Love to see this expire at 8:15. That would mean, that we're not in as great a danger as we are at the moment. Likely, I would expect these warnings to extend east, Scott, as far as the severe thunderstorm warnings go. Hopefully, we won't see any more of those tornado warnings
But that is something we're going to have to keep an eye on here, as we still see quite a bit of intense wind coming through Sumner County, approaching Gallatin, Mount Juliet in the next 5 minutes. Hendersonville now in the leading edge. Nashville downtown, seeing quite a bit of rain coming through. One of our sky cameras there downtown looking pretty ominous. There's a downtown one with the crane. Can we take that one real fast? Yeah, so you can see the dark cloud that continues to swallow downtown Nashville, along with some gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour.
We're double checking the number of power outages that we know about at the moment right now, but the current number is 15,000. Is that in Davidson County or is that cumulative? That's just in Nashville. And
wow,
on top
just
of that,
Nashville,
what we had in Clarksville, 10,000 in Dixon as well. There was an apartment complex down in Dixon right beside the Walmart. It was one of the first down there to lose power. So they've lost 10,000. There are thousands without power in Montgomery County, Davidson County, 15,000. Obviously, the Weather Service and the electric companies, are hand in hand. The electric power companies knew this was coming. They would have had crews on standby, if not at their offices, and they'll be responding as soon as it is safe. But you can normally call them or even report some of those places online, but I suspect they know. And again, as we told you, if you're just tuning in, the Ascend Amphitheater in downtown Nashville, right on the riverfront, has been evacuated. The Billie Eilish show was underway there. Here is a picture from one of our downtown cameras where you're actually looking arena right there at the Ascend. It has been evacuated. All those people are finding cover. I'm looking at some people on top of the Alan Jackson Acme there. You can see the wind blowing, and there's still some people on the top edge there just taking a look. I think I would get off that roof. You?
Yeah, not something we want to be around at this point here with the winds and the rain. You can see the rooftop, the tent there. So it looks like they're trying to take that down there on top of Acme at this point. So again, winds anywhere between 60, possibly 70 miles per hour as the line continues to march south. We have a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect for all of Middle Tennessee and southern Kentucky. And we'll continue to see the line push south through the next few hours. So we are still looking at quite a bit of reports of trees and power lines down in the western half of Davidson County now. We've had small hail being reported across a lot of locations in Davidson County metro area. The storms now are just now getting ready to roll into the Franklin and the Brentwood area. And I'll put lightning back on just so you can see. We do have a lot of lightning with these storms here, but took it off for a while since it was overpowering what we had. Through Centerville, down close to Homewall, into Lewis County, moving through Perry and Linden, and those severe storm warnings just blanket the entire viewing area at this point. So this is a live look at our Metro Center camera here, just outside, and you can still see the wind pretty breezy at this point here, but now we're behind that leading edge. So the strongest wind gusts would be over now here in Davidson, or it should say in Metro Center, behind the leading edge of the storm. You can see the rain coming down, along with breezy winds that continue even here in Metro Center with that main line having pushed through. So still seeing quite a bit of activity here, even in Davidson County, with the power outages and the tree limbs in number coming up. The power outages are starting to filter in, and I think last Scott said 15,000 without power in just Davidson County alone. Had an early report too in Clarksville of several people without power, up to 10,000. So we still continue to monitor the line as it makes its way through the area. I'd say the most intense storm that we have now is up in Sumner County, rolling through Gallatin at the moment. So we'll zoom in on this a little bit here. The severe thunderstorm warning will continue with winds anywhere between 60 to 70 miles per hour. Velocities showing winds that are pretty close to the radar picture here. And let's see if I can't measure some of the wind gusts in the storm. So 50-mile-per-hour winds coming out of the Hendersonville area, and still looking at 30 to 40-mile-per-hour winds well behind the main line through places like Cross Plains and Portland. So still quite impressive to see the wind speeds still up quite a bit long and well behind the main line. So Hendersonville and Gallatin getting walloped right now with some heavy rain along with those winds. And again, winds anywhere between 60 to 70 miles per hour would mean they're severe. So still severe winds that are popping out here in Sumner County. A little bit further north, still watching in Kentucky, where we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning. It looks like that it'll extend towards Tompkinsville, Allen, and Monroe County. This is until 8:30. Scottsville, quite a bit of heavy rain. So you can see that we just continue to see these severe thunderstorm warnings be extended out. Here's another one that's been issued until 8:45. Macon, Trousdale, Smith County, Jackson County, Clay County. Scott, what do you got?
Katie, as you were indicating, you thought that I guess the watches and the warnings would be extended. The warnings are. In fact, I was just getting off of the printer, the Weather Service, extending the severe thunderstorm warning to those counties over to the east of Nashville, which would include Smith, DeKalb, Jackson, Sumner County, Wilson County, northwestern Clay, Macon County, Trousdale counties, as that system continues to march along. The number in Davidson County of people who are now without power, now up to 19,000. The majority of those in the western part of Davidson County, as the storm obviously moved through there first as it marched into the downtown area because of the trajectory. Let me tell you some of the other things that we know about in terms of damage that has been reported. Tree down in Hillsboro Village, Natchez Trace around Fairfax. Again, that's Davidson County. And we had reports of power lines and trees down around Highway 100 and Harpeth River. That was in Bellevue. We talked to you as that was coming through a moment ago. Hillsboro Village, tree down, mentioned that one. Got a new picture just in from the Nashville airport, and that is a picture again of that shelf cloud, the leading edge, as it really seems to swallow. It sort of reminds you of that Will Smith movie, Independence Day, and that is the gigantic invading force from outer space. But this is Mother Nature and that ominous cloud. I remember back in around 1998 when a big cloud like that enveloped downtown Nashville, and it dropped tornadoes all over the place and did so much damage. That's what they look like. If you see one of those, you've got to respect what it is and become, really conversant with the weather warnings for your area, because that is a warning and you can see them coming.
Looks like we're getting reports out of B&A. Winds got up to about 55 miles per hour coming out of this storm system here. So still looking at severe thunderstorm warnings. They have been extended out more. Macon, Trousdale, Smith County into Wilson County. And we'll continue to likely see part of northern DeKalb County too, looks like. So these storms continue to produce impressive wind signatures anywhere between 50 to 70 miles per hour. Tons of lightning within this storm as well. And at the time, I do still believe we have the tornado warning up in southern Kentucky here. The tornado warned storm is likely now going to be east of where the storm is actually sitting. So most of it now, this is the one from Scottsville. So I would assume that they're going to actually move it if they need to.
That one goes until 8:15.
Yeah, it goes until 8:15, but I'd say the threat is out of the area now from where the warning was issued. So it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with that, to see if they extend it out more so. If they do, it would likely be pushing more out of the viewing area, just beyond our road, southern Kentucky counties here of Monroe and Allen County. But still, torrential rain, intense rainfall here coming out of Sumner County into Trousdale and even part of northern Wilson County. Seeing Mount Juliet down towards Smyrna. I'm going to watch this guy here in the leading part of the storm here. Downtown in the area of Smyrna here, looking at some intense lightning along with some pretty gusty winds just ahead of the main line. But this line continues to march south. Here's a new thunderstorm warning that just was issued. This includes Rutherford County now, Wilson County, northern Bedford County, northern Marshall, eastern portions of Murray, and eastern portions of Williamson County now. And that one goes until 8:45. So still seeing winds in excess of 60, maybe 70 miles per hour as the line continues to push through. seeing a lot of reports still of power outages and trees down. Scott, more information?
Yes, on the leading edge of this storm as it pushes into Williamson County, large trees down on Mallory Lane in Williamson County. We've got a report of pea-size hail, Rock Springs area in Smyrna. Large trees down. We mentioned Mallory Lane, a 4-inch limb down, Caldwell Estates in Cheatham County. And you mentioned those 52-mile-an-hour wind gusts that have been recorded at Nashville International Airport. So on the leading edge of the storm is where the winds are, and on the backside is where the lightning and the heavy rain is. But so far it is the wind that is downing trees and power lines. In Nashville, 19,000 people without power, roughly 10,000 people without power in Montgomery County, another 10,000 people without power in Dixon County. We have power out in Van Leer, which is the far western part of Dixon County. This is one of our cameras from downtown atop the LNC Tower. It looks like the heavy winds have passed through here and are now moving out toward the airport and areas beyond the downtown Nashville area, because those cameras, which were wobbling heavily a minute ago, are starting to calm down a bit.
Seems like right along that leading edge is going to be where, again, that extreme, which is typical, the extreme wind gust is going to be right along that leading edge, and then behind that is when we start to see more of the heavy rain and the potential for some small hail too. But it seems like that we have been looking at wind as the primary threat. Now this is a new tornado warning. Just that cell I was just looking at here in Smyrna now, tornado warning has been issued for portions of Rutherford County. Scott, do you have the printout?
I sure do.
See if I can
southeastern Davidson County, northern Rutherford County, southern Wilson County until 8:45. And as you say, that is the tornado warning.
Yeah, so this is a tornado warning now. We're in northern Rutherford County and southern Wilson County, really, for the area of concern. This was that cell I was looking at on the front edge of the line through Smyrna. I want to put on the velocity here. And yeah, we're seeing a little bit of a velocity scan that's showing winds going to and away of the radar picture that could indicate a potential for tornado. So right on top of Smyrna, folks, please make sure that you are in your safe spot now. Murphy and over towards even Rockdale. This is a live picture from one of our I-24 cameras at Smyrna. And the rain is coming down heavy. So again, where we would have the potential tornado is in the Smyrna area. That is the camera that you see on your left as the folks that continue their drive on I-24, hopefully they are getting to a safe spot shortly. So again, winds could be anywhere between 60 to 70 miles per hour here. And again, we're looking at some of these storms that have enough rotation in them that could produce a brief spin-up tornado. Scott?
Katie, the Weather Service has extended a tornado warning now to northwestern Jackson County, northwestern Clay County here in Middle Tennessee, and northeastern Macon County. And it is up in Kentucky. The Weather Service has allowed the severe thunderstorm warnings for the Scottsville area to expire. Okay,
so that is a separate tornado warning that we have now. I want to quickly report too that it looks like we had a report of a funnel cloud rotating near Antioch and possible what we call tornado debris signature with the storm here out of southern Davidson County. So let's zoom out a little bit. And that would be right here. So again, that is going to be one of the areas of concern that we are taking a look at within this storm here. Let's go back to radar real fast. Again, this is going to be, okay, so there, and we'll zoom in. So wow, right here up to just near Couchville too, looking at a separate area of rotation. This would likely be where we have the potential for a tornado that is in progress right now within the tornado warned area in southern Davidson County and into northern Rutherford County. So again, people in Smyrna and just north of that in southern Davidson County, that's where the reported funnel cloud was, just around the Antioch area, and now seeing significant shear here. This is something we don't get a lot of on our rotation tracker. A lot of the shear will be in that green and red category, but on your legend here, significant shear or extreme shear is in yellow, and we've had reports of a potential tornado debris signature with this here near Couchville. So again, we want to stick with this. We also want to briefly touch on too, I'm going to turn lightning off again because it's too much. So we're going to head north into, you said they extended the warning. Let's take a look here into Jackson. So here's a separate tornado warning that has been issued now for portions of Macon County, Clay County, and northern Jackson County in Tennessee. And wow, right there near White Oak. So could have had a tornado touchdown near White Oak, and this is in Macon County, headed towards Sunrise. And again, want to make sure, folks, I've been mentioning this all night long. If you're in a severe thunderstorm, if the storms are rolling through, you just need to be in an interior location. It is one of those nights where at any point we could see a brief spin-up tornado. We could have severe wind damage, bring problems to you as well. So make sure you're just in your safe spot at this point. Scott?
Couple of things. Trees down, power out in the Wedgwood, Houston area of Nashville. Large tree down in Inglewood over on the East Nashville side of town, not far from Opryland, across the river. Tree and a utility pole down Mallory Lane in Williamson County, the Brentwood area. Radar does continue to indicate a tornado in the far northern part of Rutherford County.
Yeah, so that's going to be the one that we want to go back to and focus on a little more. I'm going to zoom in on this. We have sirens going off in, is this
Davidson
in Davidson County?
Yes,
Yeah.
Take a listen on if you can hear any.
Okay, let's take a look at the video coming out of Davidson County here.
You can hear the tornado sirens. They are designed to let people know who are in the, outside that we've got serious trouble. A city like this, you wonder how far they can be heard. We've got quite a network, largely in the rural areas, but that's one downtown.
So we come back to the radar picture here. Again, that video coming in from downtown, and this is something that we've been talking about quite a bit, Scott, the fact that City Council is going to put forward money to upgrade our tornado sirens. Those sirens that you were hearing from downtown are going off because of a tornado warning in the extreme southern and eastern portion of the viewing area right now. So downtown is not in the path of that tornado, but that's why it can be confusing at times, and one of the reasons why we're hopefully getting that siren upgrade here shortly. This is going to be the area that we continue to watch for a potential tornado within the Smyrna area, and actually, I'll turn this off again. Over towards Couchville is where we had a report of a potential TDS or tornado debris signature within the storm here, which typically means that we have debris that has been lofted in the air and is actually showing up on radar. So we continue to see quite a bit of activity here on just the radar picture alone. Right around Murphy, we continue to see quite a bit of shear here. So just north of Murphy, Rockdale, Vesta, this is a serious storm that is headed your way. You have minutes to react. It's time to take your safety precautions right now and make sure that you are in the location that you need to be in. Lowest level of your home or basement, even better. Anywhere in your lowest level and away from windows. We've had a report here of a potential tornado that was on the ground within this storm here just north of Murphy and Smyrna. So we continue to watch this here. We're in northern Rutherford County for reference. These sirens were likely going off because the tornado warning did include the southern portion of Davidson County. This was also the same area, Scott, that we had a report of a funnel cloud sighting.
Well, we've got a report of a tree down in that same area, Amalie Drive in Nippers Corner, pretty close to the Davidson-Williamson County line, just off of Old Hickory Boulevard. And you don't hear this very often. Trees down in front of every house on the street in Stanford Estates, which is a neighborhood in Donaldson.
Wow. So we continue to monitor here the tornado warning that's near Rule Hill and continues to push east at about 45 miles per hour. We've got a video here coming out of Smyrna.
Yeah, that's the southern part of
you see the water? Is it the water on the roads? That's or the wind. That is wind pushing the rain. Do you see that within the headlights? Do you see the wind? It's pushing the rain. So blinding rain, really.
Truck driver had his flashers on going there. This would not be a good storm to try to ride out. Great idea to get off the road if you can.
Yeah. So we continue to watch where we have a potential tornado here that is rolling through northern Rutherford County and southern Wilson County now. So let's go back to the radar picture. That's quite a picture, though, that you're seeing there from the Smyrna TDOT camera. But now we've got a rotation detection here right around Rockdale and Murphy, Gladeville, and over towards Baird's Mill, and points to the east and a little bit north. I'm going to put a track on it here. Folks in this area, you need to take this seriously. We're around the 840 area, I-840. Vesta, 5 minutes, Major 11. Holloway, 15 minutes from now. This is a serious storm. It's looking like it has the best rotation of the night that we have seen so far. So we could be looking at a potential tornado. We've had a report of a tornado debris signature, which would mean potentially that we've had a touchdown, and it has debris that's been lofted in the air, and now the radar is picking up on that debris. So we could have potential damage within this storm as it continues to show signs of rotation. I also do want to continue to monitor the one up here. We have a tornado warning in Macon County now, pushing more into Clay County, and this one is going to go until 8:45 as well. Not looking quite as impressive as what we're seeing in Rutherford County, but velocity still showing a little bit of rotation within the storm right around sunrise. So again, the tornado warning here in Macon County and Clay County does continue. This is north of Red Boiling Springs and Hermitage Springs, and this will continue until 8:45. But do want to continue to watch the one in Rutherford County. That is the strongest one that we have still at this point. So we'll go back to this one here. And storm tracker is still picking up on a decent radar return of rotation within the storm here. So a track on it, putting it at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. And these locations here need to be in your safe spot at this time right now. Really isn't much time to work with these since they are moving pretty quickly at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. The whole storm line is. So we need to make sure that we're keeping a very close eye on this as we continue to see all of this push through.
Katie, the Weather Service has canceled the tornado warning for Davidson County, but as you indicated, it is just picking up, as the storm continues to march on to the south and to the east. So
as the storm continues to move eastward, the National Weather Service will cut out places that are no longer in danger, and that is the southern Davidson County location. So Davidson County is in the clear. I know sirens were going off. We saw video from downtown. The threat was in the extreme southeastern portion of Davidson County and more so into Rutherford County, and that's where we continue to see the threat now, right around Murphy. So in and around this location and Rockdale. Folks need to make sure that you are in your safe spot now. Gladeville and Vesta both need to be watching this closely from a safe location, lowest level of your home, away from windows. The tornado warning here will continue for another 15-20 minutes.
Katie, I should probably tell people about some of the big roads in Davidson County that have some trees across them. Trees down blocking the westbound lanes of Bell Road, quite a bit of debris in that area, and also Hillsborough Road at Vaughn Road out in the Green Hills area.
So still monitoring 2 tons of severe weather. Severe thunderstorm warnings are outlined in yellow. The tornado warnings are outlined in red. So we have 2 active tornado warnings. We have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. They've just put them in big blocks because this whole line is severe warned. If you're not in a tornado warned location, but within the leading edge of this thunderstorm line, take your tornado precautions anyways. These storms can quickly spin up a tornado. And you don't have a lot of warning time on those. So even though we are looking at severe thunderstorm warnings for a lot of these locations, we're still getting several reports of wind gusts 60 to 70 miles per hour, which can still do damage and still unfortunately break windows. So you want to stay away from windows. So still watching the tornado warning here for Murphy and Rockdale and Vesta. This is 840 right here if you're familiar with the area through Rutherford County, and points east of that all need to be watching this closely through Major and Baird's Mill. So still seeing rotation detection on the tornado warning that continues for us here, and our rotation detection has continued to show extreme amounts of shear in this location. So Rockdale to Murphy, Vesta, I mean, it's on top of Rockdale and Murphy now. Folks, in Vesta, you have minutes now to take action, major minutes to take action along Highway 231 in Rutherford County here, and 840. This is getting ready to pass over 840, and there you go. There's a newest scan that's just now coming in. You can see some of the yellow has come down just a little bit, but still very intense storm with the potential for a tornado. We've had reports of a funnel cloud with this. We've had reports of tornado debris signature within this as well. So I'm just going to check and see what else, if we've got anything else coming out from the Weather Service about this storm in particular.
The latest I've seen severe thunderstorm warnings for some of our Kentucky counties, Clinton County, which is the Albany, Kentucky area, Metcalfe County, Adair County, but yeah, not associated with this particular storm. Okay, so still looking at potential for a tornado. Here east of the Smyrna Airport right now. So still looking within the tornado warning, which is flashing in red. What you have on the other side of your screen is 840 out that direction. So this is 24 at 840, and car is still moving somewhat smoothly there. But the tornado warning here continues for the area just east of the Smyrna Airport for possible rotation, possible tornado that we will continue to monitor here. So folks around Rockdale, Murphy, Vesta, still looking at the potential for possible tornado here. This has been the most intense storm that I've seen all night long, the most well structured as far as tornadic potential goes, and it continues to remain pretty intense this evening here. So we're sitting at 8:30 now. We're still in our coverage here, tracking strong storms rolling through Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. It's a wall of severe thunderstorm warnings with a few tornado warnings mixed in there as well. So just to zoom out and give you a bird's eye view here, if you're just tuning in, we're continuing our coverage of severe weather, multiple reports of trees down, power outages across Middle Tennessee. We've had a couple reports of major structural damage within homes up in Southern Kentucky. And still, we are looking at a very intense line of showers and thunderstorms. All of these boxes you see in yellow are severe thunderstorm warnings. All of the boxes in red, we have one right now that continues in Rutherford County. It looks like they have let the one in Macon County expire. So we'll take a look here. Yeah, so that is good news. So circulation in Macon County has been, it has weakened enough where the National Weather Services have been allowed to let it cancel early. But we still continue to show concern for this storm here, mainly east of Smyrna and towards Watertown, that is showing signs of rotation for possible tornado. So we're still watching this very closely here. And winds have been anywhere between 50 to 60 miles per hour. So let's zoom in a little bit more. And yeah, still seeing some signs of rotation here now east of Murphy, possibly right about here. So right in that tornado warn location. Looks like they've updated the warning, in fact. Scott, is that true? That they have. Because it looks like the area of concern would be right in here, east of Murphy now and east of Smyrna in Rutherford County. They're getting reports of major winds in Smyrna, Spring Hill, northeast Murray County. 80-mile-an-hour winds at 8:23 were headed for Walter Hill and Murfreesboro. Again, that's kind of along 231, headed over toward Wilson County, not far from 840 either, that area we were talking about. Okay. And they continue to get major power outage reports. Right now in Davidson County, the number is up to 31,000. Wow,
31,000 without power just in Davidson County alone. I'm sure we'll get other reports of locations that are without power too. So the tornado warning does continue here. Tornado possible near Walter Hill, I believe, and moving to the east. 840 at Walter Hill now. We have So there it is, and you can see the lightning, the heavy rain that is moving through the tornado possible near Walter Hill or 10 miles north of Murfreesboro, moving east at 40 right now. We could be looking at winds up to 80 miles per hour here in this camera shot. So camera view showing around Walter Hill of potentially 80 mile per hour winds with this storm as it marches through the area. This is the same location where the tornado warning continues. We could potentially have a tornado that has touched down. There were reports earlier of tornado debris signature. I'll have to go back and look and see what we have there. But a tornado debris signature has been reported with this storm that continues near Walter Hill. We're 10 miles north of Murfreesboro. So right on top of Walter Hill, we are looking at very intense winds. So let's take a look here right around Walter Hill. I'm going to put on velocity and let's see if we can't measure some of these winds. 75 mile per hour winds. These are winds that are being measured, estimated winds measured from the radar picture here in Nashville, measuring winds anywhere between 75 to 80 miles per hour near Walter Hill in Rutherford County. This is the same location that we're concerned for the potential for a tornado near Walter Hill or just about 10 miles north of Murfreesboro right now. 75 mile per hour winds. That is something we do not see here every day here in Tennessee. So again, this is a storm we do not want to be messing with. It is an intense storm with damaging winds. Even if the tornado warning does continue here in Rutherford County and here southern Wilson County, but likely looking at winds close to 80 miles per hour. You can see the colors change in our severe wind tracker. The brighter the color, the darker or the higher the winds. So you see a little bit of darkness here next to that brighter color. That's indicating where winds are going towards the radar and winds are going away from the radar and where we could potentially still have a brief spin up tornado. But I would say our main concern right now are those severe winds that we have rolling through Walter Hill. So again, we were measuring winds 83 mile per hour winds possible. Now keep in mind, we're looking at them a little bit higher up, just above the surface. As the radar beam scans, it scans higher and higher the further out it gets. This is not too far from the radar site though, in Old Hickory here in Davidson County. 71 mile per hour winds now coming in near Walter Hill. Folks in and around the Walter Hill area and points east from there, please make sure that you are taking tornado precautions now with this storm passing through. I'm going to put a track on that and, oops, try that again, because that is impressive to see winds like that. And we'll push it out about 40 miles per hour here. So Auburn Town in 17 minutes from now, we're talking about folks near Walter Hill with this storm producing winds anywhere between 70, possibly 80 miles per hour. Valley View, Canebrake, St. John's, these are all subdivisions. Bethel, getting hammered right now. We have that picture still looking breezy from Walter Hill and the interstate there. You can show that. Also seeing torrential rain, I'm sure, within the storm. So this is a tornado warning that continues. And now just on the edge here of Rutherford County and then the edge of southern Wilson County. But that's going to be the location, and the National Weather Service has been shaving it off. It started back here. In fact, it started back in Davidson County. So here's the edge of Davidson County. Warning started here, and it's been shaving off as the threat continues to push east. But still looking at winds anywhere between 70, maybe 80 miles per hour. That's what we were just estimating from the radar picture. Scott?
Katie, still 31,000 people without power here in Nashville. We now have reports that power is out in the Walter Hill area. We told you a moment ago about the problems at Ascend Amphitheater. Big concert there, Billie Eilish show. It was evacuated ahead of the storm hitting downtown. Fox 17 News' Alex Apple is live downtown talking with some people that were at that show. Alex?
Yeah, they've been evacuated for about 45 minutes. From what I can tell, they didn't get to hear any music tonight. But I don't know if you can see how many people are still down here. We'll just walk down here and talk to one of them. Are still standing here with nowhere to go. Of course, we were stuck in traffic coming over the bridge, but they don't have anywhere to evacuate to. The tornado sirens have still been going off here, and we're seeing a lot of lightning. It looks like it's coming from East Nashville over the river, but a lot of people just stuck here. Let's just find out real quick from one of them what they said. Hey, what did they tell you when you had to evacuate? Did you hear any music tonight?
No.
And now you're just stuck here. How are you going to get out?
We don't even live here. We live 10 hours away, so I have no idea.
Oh my gosh, well, I'm sorry. This is how your night is ending. But there's still some people in the amphitheater, but they've asked everybody to come outside, and this is what you get. A little bit of delirium, a little bit out a lot differently. But most people have been running for cover smartly around here. As you've said already, 30,000+ people here in Davidson County without power. These people, though, I don't know how many it is, a couple thousand probably, are just stuck. And this is not a good time to be stuck for sure. Back to you guys in the studio.
Alex, fortunately, the National Weather Service has canceled the tornado warning for Davidson County. It also just canceled the tornado warning for Jackson County. However, the severe thunderstorm warning there has been extended until 1, and we continue to get reports of trees down in Rutherford County, which is the area we are most concerned with right now.
Still watching this real closely, Scott. You'd mentioned that there are several reports of power out in the Walter Hill area, and that's what we were looking at. Winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. And that is where the tornado warning does continue. I'm going to go back to velocity and see what the winds are still looking at. Intense winds here, measuring, I would say, most likely close to 70 in some of these locations. Here's a new scan that's just come in. We've got another picture here from, where is this again? I'm sorry. Okay, this is near Walter Hill, 840. In Rutherford County near Walter Hill, we're looking at winds being measured, estimated around 70 mile per hour wind gusts here. You can see at the very top of the screen too of the lightning that continues to flicker across the top of your screen. This is a very electric storm system, a very powerful storm system that unfortunately has turned deadly in other states. I believe I saw a report out of Illinois and possibly one in Missouri as well of unfortunately a car or a tree falling on a car, killing someone in Illinois. So this is a deadly storm system now in other states, and we continue to see quite a bit in the way of trees coming down, power outages. You saw from Alex Apple where the Ascend Amphitheater had to be evacuated with these storms rolling through, and the threat's not over. We are still seeing this line maintain its strength through Middle Tennessee and into our southern counties and towards the plateau now. So let's go back to radar picture and again take a look at some of these estimated wind gusts here, anywhere between 70, almost 80 miles per hour. So we'll take this off, and again, still watching where the tornado warning is. You can see it's still kind of being shaved back. It's probably on this southern edge that we're continuing to watch. There's Murfreesboro, just for perspective. And so we are looking at this is north and east of downtown Murfreesboro right now. So we do continue to watch this storm closely here. Even if there isn't a tornado on the ground, we're talking about serious winds here at 70 miles per hour. So something you need to keep in mind as we continue to track this tornado warning that does go for another 10 minutes. So they are continuing to at least keep the tornado warning going with winds around 70 miles per hour within that storm. But now we're getting into more of the plateau here in southern Kentucky. Very intense looking storms with severe thunderstorm warnings that continue to be continue to come out from the National Weather Service. So it looks like here, Clay, Pickett County, Overton, Fentress County, Northern Putnam County, and Jackson County now all in a severe thunderstorm warning. This one goes until 9:15. So everybody seeing warnings along this line as it marches through Middle Tennessee. Along the leading edge is where we'll see the greatest wind threat. And then even behind that, some pretty gusty winds associated with these storms, along with the torrential rain. Earlier, we had a report of rain coming down, 2 inches of rain in just 20 minutes. That's insane. So that's a lot of rain. And we're seeing a lot of reports of trees coming down, likely from those heavy showers, along with the gusts of wind and the quite a bit of lightning too. Down towards Columbia here, we're seeing quite a bit of intense wind and rainfall. The tornado threat seems to be, at least most of our warnings have been north of 40 for the night. But we'll take a quick look here and scan what we're seeing as far as wind goes here. And some ragtag areas located along the front edge of the storm system, but still likely seeing winds in excess of 60 miles per hour through Murray County into Bedford County, Marshall County, and even pointing south towards Lawrence County, Wayne, and Giles. So still quite a bit of wind here associated with the line as it continues to march south and east. So still watching here. The line moving through Rutherford County. The tornado warning continues to get trimmed, but I don't want us to let our guard down. Still looking at severe winds and even a little bit of a notch right here. So we go back to our shear, and rotation tracker is still showing rotation within the storm that's moving through Rutherford County. So here's Murfreesboro for reference. We're in the northern part of Rutherford County, into Cannon County next, through Auburntown and Brysonville. So we'll continue to watch this here. Velocity continues to show winds anywhere between, there's a new scan that came in, winds anywhere between 60 to 70 within this storm in here. Looks like they're now down to about 50 to 60 miles per hour. Whew. So again, we are watching this line as it makes its way through the area. So using Nashville radar, that's going to be our best one at this point. So let's put a quick track on this line that's moving through Rutherford County, and we'll extend that out about 45 miles per hour. All of this under the severe thunderstorm warning that is likely in effect through at least, I'd say, 9 o'clock now. Auburntown, 7 minutes, expecting some of those heavy winds to roll in. Woodbury and Watkins here in the next 26 minutes. Blue Springs, 28 to 30 minutes from now, expecting these thunderstorms to march closer to you. And again, I've been saying all night, these are the storms, even though they're severe thunderstorm warnings, take them as tornado warnings for tonight. That is the type of system we're dealing with here, where even severe winds can do quite a bit of damage. And at any point, we've seen some of these tornado warnings pop up. So best to just be hanging out in the basement tonight, or maybe just at least in the lowest level of your home. National Weather Service out of Huntsville has gone ahead and issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Lincoln, Moore, and Franklin County here. So really getting ahead of the line as the Weather Service, again, putting these warnings out, tells me that they're not expecting this to weaken very much. So we should maintain strength all the way through the viewing area through the remainder of the evening tonight. Now remember, we do have the watch that's in place. The good news is they are starting to take some counties out of the watch. And so everybody that is still included in the watch here is in pink. And that'll be for points, of course, south and east where the line has yet to move through. But Clarksville's already in the clear. Trigg, Christian, Todd County, Henry and Stewart, Houston, Humphreys, Dixon, Cheatham County, Robertson County, all in the clear. And we'll likely continue to see these counties be taken out from the northwest to the southeast. So that is good news to see. Still looking at the severe outlook that remains over a lot of Middle Tennessee. This has been updated from the Storm Prediction Center, but we're still looking at quite a bit of Middle Tennessee under a level 3 out of 5 for wind damage for tonight, along with that brief spin-up tornado threat. And that's what we continue to see here as we go through the evening hours. So we will continue to monitor the line as it makes its way through the area, and we'll likely just continue right through Fox 17 News at 9 here, which comes up in about 20 minutes. So again, the tornado warning that continues for Rutherford County continues to dwindle a little bit, or I should say the warning itself continues to get shrunken, which is good, but we will stick with it here. So the warning does continue all the way up to the Cannon County line. Here's Cannon County and Auburntown. Here's Rutherford County. We have been still estimating winds anywhere between 50 to 60 miles per hour. So the warning here will likely, I wonder if they're going to let it just expire. It's Scott, have you seen anything?
Actually, I'm waiting for the Weather Service to answer that very question. It was posed in the last 60 seconds, and so far, no report on that. I do have an updated report on power outages in Rutherford County. That number up to 6,100, more than 5,000 out in Wilson County, which is still under the gun. And in Davidson County, the last number we had still good, 31,000. That goes on top of the 10,000 that we were telling you about in Montgomery County, another 10,000 in Dixon County, and there's widespread reports of damage. Interesting one that I just read about 2 minutes ago. In Lawrence County, a barn blown onto State Route 240 at Locker Road and Highway 240, the turnpike down there halfway between Summertown and Henryville. So we do have some structures that are damaged. The light of day tomorrow should be interesting to allow us to see fully what Mother Nature has done tonight and continues to do at this hour.
Yeah, and Scott, I'm seeing reports even coming out of the Paducah area. There's several structures that have been damaged. Seems like they're dealing with quite a bit of damage up in Kentucky, where this line came from, and continues to do damage here in the Middle Tennessee region. So still watching this here as the tornado warning is still in effect.
Expires in Rutherford County and Wilson County.
Good.
Just been allowed to expire just this second. Good.
So it looks like the tornado warning has been allowed. So here it is, and that'll go away in just a few seconds from now. But the severe thunderstorm warnings continue in the masses right now. We just have a ton of severe thunderstorm for the rest of the viewing area, really, all the way through the Cumberland Plateau and into our southern counties. We continue to see the severe thunderstorm warnings that continue for us here as we roll through the rest of this evening. See if I can get the 3D to work. But what this shows is actually a scan of the storms that roll through the area here. If I can't get it to work, then we'll come back to it a little bit later. But again, this is giving us an idea of how large these storms are. So we put this in 3D motion. Had someone on Twitter actually ask if we could show what the 3D motion was. So this is actually showing how tall the thunderstorms are right now, and they have been quite tall indeed throughout the evening hours. So again, what we're seeing here is tall in feet. So your measurement there is on the side. There's 60,000 feet. So we're looking at storm tops that are over 30,000 feet here out in DeKalb County towards Cannon County and points north and east. So this again gives us an idea of how tall thunderstorms are. And keep in mind, the taller the thunderstorms are, the more strong they are. So these are pretty strong storms, typically 30,000 to 35,000 feet is cruising altitude for commercial airliners. So that gives you an idea, if you've flown in an airplane before, how tall you are, and even still, sometimes there are clouds above you, but typically that's about how tall where we get our severe thunderstorms. We can get them as high, though, as 50 to sometimes 60,000 feet. But right now, some of them closer to that here, closer to the 50 to 60,000 foot range. So again, that just gives us an indication of how tall they are and how strong they are. And the fact, too, that they are maintaining strength at this point here is interesting to note as well. So again, we are watching this closely as we go through the next several hours. Let's see if we can go back to the radar picture here. And we'll monitor the fact that these storms continue to produce quite a bit of wind. And they don't have any signs of slowing down. So the fact that we still are showing cloud tops at the 40 to 50,000 foot range is impressive as it makes its way through the area. But I mentioned earlier, we had a lot of energy, a lot of juice in the atmosphere that would just eat this up, and then that needed it to continue to maintain strength. And that's exactly what's happened throughout the evening hours, Scott.
Katie, the Weather Service is saying right now the strongest winds on radar, despite what we've seen presently, are in Cannon County near Woodbury and Bradyville. Some different areas were taking turns being under the gun tonight. And fortunately, though, at least for the moment, the tornado warning has been allowed to expire, and that's good news.
Yes, and actually right where they're talking about those severe winds is where we were just looking at that 3D cross section where the tallest thunderstorm was. So that goes hand in hand with what I was just talking about here, about how the taller the thunderstorm is, the stronger it is, and that is where National Weather Service has noted that we are now looking at the strongest wind gusts around Woodbury. So it would be right here through Cannon County, and showing some pretty intense radar signatures here with velocity. So we'll check that out using our little, I like to call eyedropper. And wind speeds anywhere between 60 to 70 miles per hour. The fact that this storm system has maintained its strength through Kentucky, even through Missouri, into Illinois, Kentucky, and now Tennessee is quite impressive for us here. And our storm reports are just now starting to come in from other locations to our north and west of here, where this storm first started within our viewing area. Scott?
Katie, interesting report just came in through the National Weather Service, that being that Demonbreun and 4th Avenues in Nashville are both shut down because of glass from windows is over the road. So that's here in Davidson County. And it's probably just a good thing to mention here by way of warning, the way these storms are moving, and they'll continue. As Katie said, they've been strong from Illinois all the way, through Kentucky and through half of our state so far. If you have friends or family maybe that are camping near state parks or rivers over in East Tennessee, certainly areas to the east of Middle Tennessee, might be a good idea, if you could, to contact them on the off chance that they're not weather aware. Let them know what's coming, because if you let them know now, they could quickly break camp, so to speak, and get to a safe place, because I would not want to try to ride one of these storms out in a tent.
Yeah, and this is going to be still something we have to continue to watch through the rest of this evening. So still looking at in winds in excess of 60 to 70 miles per hour. One of the reasons why we have stuck with you through this evening. This is not your typical thunderstorm in the summertime here in Tennessee. This is a well-structured, or was, it's starting to look like it's starting to break apart just a little bit, but it was a well-structured storm system that started up in Missouri and Illinois and has marched its way through Tennessee and has brought us significant damage in portions of the viewing area, with several reports of trees down, power outages spread out across Middle Tennessee and southern Kentucky, along with a couple structures that have been damaged as well. What we're doing right now is gathering all of that information that we have at the moment, and we will bring it to you as soon as we know about it. But we do continue to show at least 60 to 70 mile per hour winds with these storms here. Severe thunderstorm warning here through Smithville and DeKalb County. This will go until 9:30. It's likely we will continue to see these warnings through the remainder of the viewing area. Would probably be exiting the viewing area, I would say, around midnight. That's probably when we will start to see things exit completely from the Fox 17 viewing area, but until then, we will continue to be watching these here as they march into our southern counties. So the severe thunderstorm warnings continue all the way through our counties along the Alabama border. It does include Lincoln, Moore, and Franklin County, which are warned out of National Weather Service out of Huntsville. That's why they're kind of cut out like this. Big box here for Wayne, Lawrence, and Giles. So the storms are now in southern Wayne County, almost pushing out of Wayne County completely into Lawrence County and Giles County, northern parts of Marshall County, and now starting to move into Bedford County too. So we'll zoom in real quickly here. Some pretty intense rainfall coming through Marshall and into Bedford County. The most severe weather we've had, hands down, has been up north, mainly in our northern counties, and then over here near Murfreesboro and Woodbury, where we continue to see signs of winds around 60 to 70 miles per hour. So we'll continue to watch this here in our rotation tracker. It shows rotation, gives us the best area of where the most intense rotating part of the storm is. It can also show us where there is straight line wind damage. So through Woodbury right now, we are seeing intense wind through Woodbury all the way down to Beech Grove along I-24. And I would say that is where we are looking at our most intense wind, from Woodbury up through Smithville at this point. Likely seeing winds about 60 to 70 miles per hour. So right along that leading edge here, and we're still watching again, that leading edge would be where we need to watch for potential tornadic activity. But for now, the good news is we're looking at severe thunderstorm warnings all across the viewing area here, as the line is starting to break apart a little bit. Still pretty intense. In fact, up here in southern Kentucky, also looking at some very intense winds through Macon, even now through Macon, more into Clay County. These are pretty intense. Up towards, I'd say, Allen and Monroe, and into Clinton and Cumberland counties. These are likely going to be in excess of 60 miles per hour as well, which is why we have severe thunderstorm warnings attached to these also. We'll quickly look and see about any velocity, severe wind over towards Livingston. That's something to watch. So here's a little area of concern just south of Hillam in Overton County, Livingston. A little bit of rotation here within the storm. Now keep in mind too, as we get further out towards the Cumberland Plateau, unfortunately with our radar beam, we're shooting higher up. In fact, you can see here the circle is the edge of really where the radar is picking up accurate information. So the higher up we get into the sky, the more higher up we're looking into the clouds. So it's likely we're seeing rotation here in Overton, but has not been warned on just yet because this is higher up in the sky and it's not quite at the surface. So that is something we'll keep an eye on, though, folks around Livingston and Overton County. Go ahead again, as we've been mentioning all night, even with severe thunderstorms, just go ahead and get in your safe spot for tornado precautions. Scott?
Katie, it's so funny what you were saying. The Weather Service just this second issued a report indicating that they are watching circulation developing in Overton County, just west of Livingston. No sooner had you called the map up that this came across.
Okay, that's good confirmation.
Yeah, they continue to talk about poles being snapped along Jones Mill Road in Laverne. Old Jones Mill Road shut down. They're trying to evacuate some people from the Pools Knob area, but trees are down there. We've got a lot of power out. Hearing a report of a large tree down in Smyrna, and 60, 70 miles an hour winds in Woodbury, where we were just seconds ago on the radar.
It's still maintaining a pretty intense storm system here, and this is that area of rotation that we'll keep an eye on. Folks in Livingston, Overton County now, we'll put a track on this here and move that out, and we'll put it at about 40, 45 miles per hour. So Eastport, 18 minutes, Helena, 23 minutes, Cedar Grove, and 25, Squirrel Flat in 28 minutes from now. Watching an area of rotation in Overton County. Even if it turns into a tornado warning or not, potential tornado, one can drop at any second. So go ahead and take your shelter now. Folks in Livingston, same thing. In addition to that, these thunderstorm wind gusts are high enough tonight that you'll just want to be in your safe spot, or at least lowest level of your home and away from windows anyways. So that's what we're watching here in Overton County, just to the west of Livingston right now and south of Hillam. There's the newest scan that's coming in. So again, just to the west of Livingston through Overton County. Watching that area of rotation pretty closely there. There is a little bit of a notch. This is our reflectivity. What we like to see, or what we don't like to see, but we try to look for is a little bit of a that's showing winds going into this storm. So we're almost forming another little arm or a little notch here. And that would be indicating that we're starting to see wind being filled into the storm, feeding that warm, moist air that's going to help rotate the storm and create a potential spin-up tornado. So still watching there, and right where you see the velocity or the wind going to and from the radar picture is right where we see the little notch just north of Wendell in Overton County. So right here is going to be where we're looking for a potential spin-up tornado. So folks in Livingston, this is getting pretty close to you all. Hope you are all in your safe spot now, away from those windows and the lowest level of your home here. Again, these are hard to warn on. They spin up quickly, and a lot of times when the radar scans, it'll take time to scan once. Takes a while for it to come back and scan again. So sometimes we can see something drop before that next scan comes around, and by the time it comes around again, it's already dissipated or already headed back up into the into the clouds. So right around Livingston again is going to be the most immediate area of concern for the potential for a spin-up tornado. Some of the winds here measuring anywhere between 50 miles per hour to I'd say 60 at times. This is just a new scan coming in here, so we'll clear that out. Yeah, a little bit more of a rotation there. So still here through Overton County, and we'll go back to the home screen and take a look at radar here. So boy, still an impressive line coming through, Scott. A lot of heavy rain too up through Clinton and Cumberland County, where there is a severe thunderstorm warning there as well. But we will continue to see Nashville, Davidson County in the clear as far as severe weather goes. Dixon, Clarksville, Columbia, right on the last bit of that intense rainfall. Murfreesboro even looking at the last bit of the intense rain. It's still pretty breezy behind that front, I bet, or behind the line. But now focusing our attention to the Cumberland Plateau and towards our southern counties nearing the Alabama border. This has been racing about 50 miles per hour this evening. So really interesting to see this whole line maintain its strength and unfortunately do quite a bit of damage across portions of Middle Tennessee and other locations. Just to keep in mind too, we've got flash flood warnings that are going on up here in Trigg County. This is from the rain we had earlier. This will be until 12:30 this morning. This is where we had that report earlier of 2 inches of rainfall in about 20 minutes tops. That is intense rain. And still, I think we could definitely see some pretty high rain rates within some of these cells that continue to push through here. So again, a look at the radar picture shows, we could even look at the 24-hour rain here, and you can see that we've got quite a bit of rain that has pushed through. Green indicating about 1 inch, 1 to 1.5 inches of rain just within this one batch of showers and storms that have pushed through here. So interesting to see the pockets and where those heavy pockets have set up from the rain within this storm system as it makes its way through the area. So again, still watching and monitoring that little bit of rotation out in Livingston, near Livingston and Overton County. We're going to go back to our Nashville radar, so that's going to give us a better look at what's going on locally here. And everybody else looking at winds in excess of 60 to 70 miles per hour. Pretty intense rain and probably some high winds near Waterloo right now, right on the edge of Overton County, and maybe even some hail within the storm too. We'll measure those real fast just to see, yeah, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Again, we're looking a little bit higher up, so this is probably just above the surface, but could be mixing down towards the surface with 60, again, 70-mile-per-hour winds, which is why we have those severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect and should remain in effect through at least 9:30 for a lot of these locations here. Let's take a quick live look here downtown. You can see some of the clouds in the background, some lightning off in the distance with the Batman building, the AT&T Tower, and lightning there. So a lot of the storms have pushed off to the south and east of downtown, but we are still watching the storms here, even from the downtown area. City view camera showing cloudy skies here with downtown Nashville off in the distance. And again, seeing that most of the severe winds in downtown have come to an end, but we continue to see quite a bit in the way of breezy winds and rain coming out of the area for sure here. So still looking at the rain and the wind coming through the Cumberland Plateau and into our southern counties, and severe thunderstorm warnings that continue through at least 9:30. So we will continue to have coverage with these storms here as they move through with the wind, even looking at the chance for some gusty winds and some hail as well. Stick with us. Fox 17 News at 9 starts next.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news, Fox 17 News at 9.
And Fox 17 News is in a code red weather alert tonight as we continue to track severe thunderstorm warnings across Middle Tennessee. We have news